I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is May 1st, 2019. This is the Gematria Effect. For the first time, we're live streaming on the Gematria Effect Sports channel. Normally, we're going on Gematria Effect News. In case you missed out on what happened, I got a strike at the beginning of the week. They said that I was guilty of hate speech. I've since uploaded that video to my Facebook page. Anyone can watch it. And I'll give anyone $1 million if they can tell me where a single drop of hate speech is in that video. And it really makes me sick because, you know, the channel that I have growing right now, it's been able to remain up since July of 2018, but I am on my 18th channel. I had 17 channels deleted or made so that I could not post on between June 28th, 2017 and March of 2018. I was pretty much getting my channel deleted every 2 or 3 weeks. And never once did I violate the terms of service for YouTube, you know. And every time that a channel was deleted, it was said to be deleted for hate speech. It's really an irritating thing to be accused of hate speech when you're not doing hate speech. It's infuriating, especially when you appeal and they respond back that appeal rejected with no reasoning. I wrote out a nice response and I said, if you could please let me know where the hate speech is. I'd like to know how I violated the terms of service. You know, you don't get a response. They just say appeal rejected, upheld for hate speech. And if you're not on my Facebook, you know, Zachary K. Hubbard, you don't have to, I know a lot of you don't like Facebook. I don't either, but you don't have to put out your real information or anything there. Anyone can make a dummy account and use Facebook. You can be my Facebook friend on there, see the posts. You know, like if you're my Facebook friend, for example, you'd know that my channel was suspended and I can't post on Gematria Effect News. I'm sure there's all sorts of people. You know what's comical is if you look at the top post on the last video I did, I pinned that my channel is suspended and I'll be posting on Gematria Effect Sports for the time being. And if you read through the comments below that pinned post, people are saying, are you okay? How come you're not making any new videos? It's like, are people even reading the comment? Are they just responding without even reading, you know, the one sentence that's there? But signs of the times. So anyhow, here we are. Gematria Effect Sports pumping out all the Gematria Effect news this week. People on the Gematria Effect Sports channel probably wonder what's going on. Videos about impossible whoppers and celebrity deaths and terror plots thwarted in Los Angeles. It's just been a ridiculous week of news. And if you missed it, did another interview this week with The Last Stand, Jeffrey Doherty and Jay Campbell. I think you'll like that interview if you take the time to watch it. Might be a good one to show friends and family, trying to wake them up to this knowledge. Because I'm talking to those gentlemen, you know, I'm trying to essentially wake up two men who don't know much about the code to the code. And another thing that was cool this week is a small independent television outfit in Pasadena, California, Pasadena Media. If you're out there in Pasadena, maybe you know about this channel. I'm not in Pasadena, so I've never seen it, but apparently there's a channel, Pasadena Media. They did an interview with me this week. They did 2 interviews, so there's going to be 2 nights upcoming. They still haven't given me the dates that they're going to air, but there's going to be 2 nights where Gematria is going to make the television waves in the community of Pasadena. So that's new. Never been on television with this work before. And as much as I don't like cable news, it would be awesome to get on cable news someday, because then we could reach a whole lot of people. And that's what needs to happen. But I will keep you posted when the Pasadena Media company gets back to me and lets me know when and where people watch it. They've also said that if you're not in Pasadena, they do put out their content on the web as well. So I think there's a way to watch it online. So something else cool that's going on tonight is there's a man, he's on the line. His name's Tyler. And I believe I talked about this last week on the radio show. There's a man named Rich who runs a page on Facebook, and he has designed Gematria information business cards, and he found, the person who'd print the most for the lowest price. And the deal is, if you just go to Rich's page, Daily Dose of Gematria, and say, hey, Rich, I want to get some of those business cards to post them around my community. And for example, what Rich does, he puts them up on community bullet boards. He sticks them behind the glass on, gas station pumps, just anywhere he can put it where it might see the eyes of a stranger and wake a new person up to this knowledge. Anyway, he wants other people to pound the pavement and do the same type of thing. And if you go, hey, Rich, I want to get some of those business cards, he'll let you know where to get them. And he asked if to help encourage people to do that, if they could get a spot on the radio show. And once I get the daily podcast going to the daily podcast, if they could come on and, share whatever excites them about this work, what makes them want to get out and pass out the business cards, what makes them want to share this knowledge with other people. If they could get a spot on this radio program or the daily podcast to let their voice be heard, that might be an incentive for people to get the business cards. So with that thought in mind, here's Tyler. I'm going to have Tyler on. He is a guest standing by right now on hold, and he's going to share with us why he went out and got the business cards and what he's doing with them. So let me get, how do I do that? Oh, no. Hold on. We're having a user error problem right here. Tyler, are you there? Can you hear me? What in the world? When he came on, I put him on mute, right? And I figured that when you put somebody on mute, it would be very easy to click unmute. Tyler, are you there? All right, perfect. Here we go.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Thanks for getting the cards.
Yeah. Just wanted to come on here and basically say a lot of people should do this. If we want this knowledge to spread, should definitely get some of these cards, and instead of ranting to somebody about this stuff, just give them the card, tell them a little bit, quick fact about like what's going on. Like LeBron James won the Cleveland championship on the Grill King Jage's birthday, and they'll be like, huh? And then be like, you want to know more about that? Give them the card. Go take the card and do your research, and then you can hit me up and talk about it, or you can just hit up Zach and watch his stuff. And I think that's what a lot of people should start doing. That's what I'm gonna do. I live in the DC area, so I'm gonna try to get out as much as I can as far as talking to people. But everyone's brainwashed anyways. But
right,
how it goes.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, yeah, very, very cool. And I'm glad you're willing to do that. I'm hoping that more people are going to be willing to do that. And that's the one thing I know a lot of people are afraid of, being made fun of or, called a conspiracy theorist or rejected by their peers. And it does happen. I mean, it absolutely does happen. That's how I got to this point anyway. I got pretty much rejected by all of my peers for doing this work. And I said, fine. If all the people I know don't want to talk to me anymore, I'll just go talk to the web and find some people who do want to talk about it. And that's pretty much how all of this happened. But, for every friend you lose doing this research, you'll probably end up making another one. Somebody reached out to me here in this community that I'm now living in and said, hey, I think I'm in the same area as you. Could I take you out to lunch? And I said, well, I guess that would be nice. So I actually met a new person yesterday, and I met him and his wife, and They got to tell me the story of how they've lost all their friends and family for speaking truth. So anyway, for all of our numbers we lose, we can still build them back up and find the people who do see eye to eye with us by being courageous enough to speak out. So
I agree, and I'm glad you said that, because that's the same thing I try to tell people around me. I've kind of like, I have a few people around me that I've kind of like helped teach this, as well as show you, should give them like give them your channel and whatnot. And that has helped them. And it's like the first year is always a battle. I remember when I first found out about Gematria it was like maybe 4 years ago now, and I found out, and I was about to be like a senior in college, and it was a hard time, man. This is the hardest years of your life, most people would say, like as far as like going through it and growing up. And it was a good time, and I'm glad I figured out what I did. And I went like a year without even like looking more into it, just understanding it. All the games were scripted in basketball, because I played basketball in college and whatnot. And that was what I wanted to do, was understand why it was that for a while. But then I understood it a little bit more when I came home from college. Something really crazy happened. I had like a spiritual awakening, and I understood like what I was doing before was something that I maybe I shouldn't have been doing. And like my lifestyle, and I kind of changed a little bit. And I really researched a lot of what you were looking into, and ever since then have been. And now I have like a girlfriend that really is interested in this stuff, and so you're right. I'm proof of what you're saying. You'll find people like, it's all about like, I mean, a lot of people. I don't know how people say like magnetism, but I feel like it's kind of like that, like you've talked about how like maybe girlfriends in the past have the same numbers as you in Gematria, right? And like that's like everything that happens in like my friendships, it's all I see it happening by the numbers all the time. It's really a really interesting thing to see. It's great part to show.
It's so weird. Speaking of which, so these people that I met yesterday were probably about 20 years older than me, and the woman pointed out that she was old enough to be my mother, and she said, "You know what's interesting about you? You have almost the exact same birthday as my son." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Do you have any other children?" She said, "I have a daughter." I said, "Huh, when's your daughter born?" And her daughter was born December, I think 12th, she said. And my sister's born December 7th. So I was like, "Huh, that's interesting. So your son and your daughter have almost the same birthdays as myself and my sister." Mm-hmm. And I said, "When's your birthday?" Because my mother's birthday is September 8th. And she goes, "No way. My birthday is September 9th. So I was like, how weird. Your birthday is almost the same as my mom's. Your son's is almost the same as mine. Your daughter's is almost the same as my sister's. So, yeah, it's just so interesting. You start to be like, okay, what is really going on? And again, it comes back to like astrology and your date of birth and how it has to do with your personality characteristics. So,
yeah. It's amazing. I'll tell you a little bit about mine real fast if we can. My name, my full name, it equals 106 in one of the 4-base ciphers, right? And that's my dad's birthday is October 6th, right? So like, that just like looks really obvious. And then my dad's full name equals 227. My mom's birthday is July 22nd, and that's a date that can be written that way. And then my dad's name, my mom's name equals 72, and my birthday is July 2nd. And yeah, and what's even crazier is 22 divided by 7, when you write it out, equals 118, right?
Right.
And my sister's birthday is August 11th this year,
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
It is. It's mind-boggling. So that's still the trippiest part about it to me, the organic side of it. So.
Yeah, that's what I think makes it more real. People need to understand that that's why these people are like using this code, because it's such a real. It's so true. It's like you were saying on the guy's show the other day. You were saying that it's like the code of God, I think, or something like that, and that believed to be. And that's why they do this. People need to understand that part of it. If they question, understand that. There's like a lot to be said about Kabbalah, and Gematria is like a lot to do with that.
Right. And again, in Kabbalah, it's stated in the Book of Formation, God created the world by merging the letter with the number with the word. And if you didn't know anything about it, you'd probably read that and be like, that's the silliest thing I ever heard of. How could that be? That makes no sense. But then you start to look at this and you're like, well, wait a minute. What in the world is going on? So.
Right.
Yeah.
It's absolutely great. Another thing, just real quick, the 16th triangular number is 136, and Tyler Thurston is my name, right? And it equals 136. And my dad's birthday was like a date that's like 106, but it can be 16. Sure. It's like I could go forever. You know, I have so much on it. It's like if people really looked into it, I know that they would find like so much more. You know, about what they do, about what they can understand about their organic side, and that's what will validate what they're seeing in your work. You know, I really do think that.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of people are really into the organic side. Absolutely.
For sure.
All right, Tyler, man. Well, thank you so much for getting the cards, and we'll have to have you back on. You have to give us the update on how it's going on passing them out. See how people are receiving it. So appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, Zach. You have a good show.
All right, man. You have a good night. Thank you for coming on.
Yep.
All right, you take care. All right, so that was Tyler. He got his cards, a daily dose of Gematria. You know, the point isn't to sell cards. Nobody is making money off the cards. Please understand that. Rich is doing this. He's taking his own time. He's just passionate about the work. He has a son himself. His son's somewhere right around. He might be a young teenager. His son's name's Christian, and he just, you know, he looks up at the sky. He sees the chemicals in the sky. He just sees all the craziness in the world, and he thinks, what kind of world does my son have? And, you know, he wants to do something about the state of things. So he thinks spreading this work is the ticket, just like a lot of us do. And he wanted to figure out how he could help out. So he went out and designed an inexpensive business card that's effective. And if you contact him, he'll get them sent to you, and he makes zero profit off it. Nobody's making any profit. So it's just all about helping spread the word. And I'd also say, I mean, honestly, you don't even have to get the business cards to do the concept. I mean, if you have a printer and a piece of paper, you could have essentially achieved the same thing. You could create your own little Gematria message or meme or whatever, and you could go slip that behind, you know, a piece of glass at a or, you know, gas pump, or post it on a community board, or put it up on a light pole, or, you know, a busy intersection. So there's all sorts of ways to do it. Just, you know, the business card, it's nice and clean, and people tend to hang on to business cards. So that's the advantage of that. That said, let's go out to the callers before the line gets too long. What's up, Tennessee? Tennessee?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Oh, hey, man. I want to talk a little bit about the 218 today.
Okay.
So 9/11 turned 218 lunar synodic months on April 27th. And Venus of the Alpha, he called in last week. He was talking about the twin cooling towers that collapsed. And that was on April 27th, where day 9/11 turned 218 lunar months old. And the interesting thing about the 9/11 is you top out twin towers and capitalize the T's. It sums to 218 Francis Bacon. The World Trade Center sums to 218 Urdnun. And the heights of the twin towers were 1,368 feet and 1,362 feet. Each tower was 1 foot higher than the 219th and 218th prime numbers. So 9/11 turned 218 lunar months old on April 27th. That means that we are currently in the 219th lunar month. And there's a strong connection between the numbers 219 and 218. First of which is the fact that if you spell out 219, it sums to 218 in the ordinal cipher. The prime factorization of 218 is 2 times 109, like a 219. And there's more to go along with that. But I think another interesting thing to consider is that on May 27th, 9/11 returned 219 lunar month old. That's the 82nd anniversary of the opening of the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's a day that leaves 218 days in the year.
Huh. Very
And that's most of what I had, I believe. Like there was one more thing. So yeah, 9/11 turning 219, 11 months old on May 27th.
Very interesting. Yeah. Whenever I hear 218, I think of Zenith of the Alpha. He used to always call in and say, there is something to this 218 number. And ever since he brought it to our attention, it's just come more and more to light. It's been a big number with Trump. His emergency alerts or presidential alert that we got on our text messages was sent out at 218 Eastern. So, yeah, very interesting. Great work.
Definitely. Yeah, most of that, was a lot of that Gematria was stuff that he had found. So,
yeah. Awesome work, man.
That's it. It's pretty short and sweet right there.
I appreciate it. Building onto that 218 list. You have a good night, friend.
Yeah.
All right, take care. And then the other thing about 218 is just in numerology terms. I mean, 2 plus 1 plus 8 is 11, right? And we know 9/11 had a lot to do with 11. A lot of the significant numbers, they do have numerology that breaks down to 11, the master number. All right, let's go out to the great caller in the Sacramento area.
Hey, Zach.
Hello.
Thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
How are you? Let me get my sound better. Well, I'm packing up and getting ready to leave the area because the Oroville Dam is 7 feet from the top when the emergency spillway is going to go.
Wow. Where are you going to go to?
And well, I'm making contingent plans. If I have to bug out really fast, I'm going to go to Tahoe. Because you can't go west of Sacramento because the low areas and the freeways are all going to be affected. So you'd have to head east toward the Tahoe, toward the mountains, basically. And that gets you up immediately you get up into a higher elevation. So it's out of the flood area.
Sure.
And then if I have more time, I'll do a more organized and take more stuff with me. And if I can, in a couple of weeks, I'm leaving the state for good, which I was planning to do anyway. And I'm just stepping up my plan. So
it's always good to be prepared.
Yeah. I don't feel, even though I know about this, when you know something's coming, it's really hard to be prepared and stay focused and keep going. And I just started talking to people, my neighbors, about it because nobody even knows. And the Department of Water Resources announced a couple days ago that everything is fine and everything's normal and they're saving the water. But 3 weeks ago, that wasn't their plan. They were going to be running the emergency spillway and drawing the lake down because the 160% of normal snowpack is about to melt and enter that system. And all the dams, there's 5 dams above Oroville, and they're already above 90% capacity as well. So there's nowhere for this water to go right now.
Wow.
And it's a trip because I was talking to my friend Jay Parker about it, the satanic ritual abuse whistleblower.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned that the Bilderberg group in June is going to be meeting in Sierra City, which is in that area. And it's actually directly east of Oroville. I believe it's probably on the same latitude, meridian line, because it's due east, but it's in a different canyon. So it wouldn't be affected by any problems in the dam. And Jay, being, from the Illuminati family, said wouldn't it be just like them to be having their meeting there so they can all watch while this total disaster life, literally hundreds of thousands of people could lose their lives.
Yeah, that's
and it's
that's a stressful situation. So are you
I
thinking
did
then
some
that?
gematria. Oh,
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, do you think then that they're probably going to hold off until June, or it sounds like you're leaving pretty
I
imminent?
don't. It's hard to. It doesn't seem. I don't know how things could hold out that long. I'm thinking that since the 51-year anniversary of the dam is on May 4th, and that's right about when the overtop should happen, I think that's a day to watch. And then there's a couple of other things. There's an Indian burial ground that they built, the main spillway that keeps having problems. They built
Sit tight.
Spillway over
Sit tight. We'll be right
Indian.
back. The commercial kicked in. We'll be right back, everybody. All right, in case you never watched before, when the commercials come in, I have to mute the commercial. Otherwise, they'll take down the live stream for copyright, because this is going on TFR radio right now. And at the same time, I'm running a live stream through YouTube. For the person asking what's she talking about, she's talking about Oroville Dam. Remember that Oroville Dam was on the verge of collapse a couple of years back, but then they managed the crisis. It's having a tough time again. She lives in the area. If it did collapse, there's a lot of people that would be in harm's way there. So she's in the area. She's just putting out the word for anybody else who might be near the Oroville Dam. She doesn't want to take any chances. So definitely a stressful situation. Jeremy says, have I heard of the holiday called Shabbat, the Festival of Weeks? I don't know if I know about that off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up. Maybe you can call in and tell me about it. The Impossible Whopper. Dave's still loving that story. Let's see. Somebody points out that Oroville's right next to Paradise, which had the terrible fire November 8th by the numbers. Again, Paradise, California equals 118. Los Angeles, California also equals 118. And both of those cities burn November 8th, 118, and 118, that number of death. And they said that was the deadliest wildfire in California history. All right, Jeremy's going to call in. Very cool. Looking forward to that. And, so we still got about a minute till the commercial breaks up. Yeah, today is the anniversary of the establishment of the Bavarian Illuminati, May 1st, 1776, established by Adam Weishaupt. Adam Weishaupt, 51, like 5-1 for May 1st. That was a leap year, so it was the 122nd day of the year. If you look at that number in reverse, 122, it's 221. The Bavarian Illuminati equals 221. Somebody points out about Oroville Dam. The water level is at 884 feet. 900 feet is the spillover elevation. And this person's Anvil Head is saying that at the rate it should fill from the snowmelt, that would be around May 9th or May 11th. May 11th, 511, big Saturn number. All right, we're coming back from commercial, Truth Seeker. Be quiet here for a second. back, Truth Seeker. Got interrupted by the commercial break. We have a concerned citizen living near Orville Dam, which is reaching the point of its fill level where it would spill over. And if that were to happen, a lot of people could be impacted. In the YouTube chat over the break, somebody was pointing out, doing the mathematics, they said at the rate things are going, it looks like that date would be around May 9th. So let me go back to the caller. Got somebody in the chat saying May 9th could be a very concerning date. Caller.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
I hear a weird echo.
Really? Let me turn down the volume. Are you getting feedback?
There. That's better. That's fine.
Okay.
So here's the little gematria on the situation. The Bilderberg group is simple 175, same as a storm is coming and satanic worship. And Sierra City, the city place, and they're going to Harrington Sierra Pines Resort, which is 375 simple, which is the same as the year when the apocalypse starts. And also Gematria is the end of days message from God. But here's a little, and Sierra City is 777 in Jewish Gematria, which is the same as Order Out of Chaos and Grand Master Plan Timeline. It's in simple, it's 127, Rainbow Bridge, and names like Cory Booker, Johnny Depp, John Podesta, and Vatican City all have simple 127, as does Sierra City. Sierra City's only got a population of 221 people. And it's in a canyon of the North Yuba River. And Yuba River is 121 in simple, same as blood sacrifice. And North Yuba River is 1755 in Jewish Gematria. And that year is a year a lot of old Masonic lodges were founded, including the Phoenix Lodge and the Trinity Lodge. Sierra City is on State Route 49, and that's known as the Golden Chain Highway. And the description is, like mementos on a charm bracelet, the jewels of the 49er gold rush are linked by the Golden Chain Highway. Golden Chain Highway is 173 in simple, same as Yellow Brick Road and Nipsey Hussle.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that's all I've got really. I mean, Chico, which I mentioned last week, Chico's a small city near Orville, probably the largest city near there. It would be wiped off the map. And Chico is like got filled with old Masonic public art and buildings. And it's interesting that if that would be wiped off the map, it seems like that supports the narrative that there's like a factional war going on within the Illuminati.
Sure.
You know, I mean, just think about the Bilderberg group sitting there in Sierra City, watching the aftermath, flying over it with helicopters or whatever. Of Chico, this town probably of old Freemasons from one tribe in this area that would be totally, totally wiped out. I mean, like 20 feet of water will go through there.
Huh, crazy. That's, you're saying that's an old Masonic town. It has the right name. I know if you use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, Chico and Masonic are both 29. So fitting. I'll have to look more into that.
It's an interesting story. I'm really hoping for the best. I hope that information is released more than 1 hour before a possible dam break like it was last time.
Right.
So anybody out there, please pray and please talk to people you know in the area so that they can become aware of what's going on. Because this is going to be ongoing for a couple months. because the snowpack hasn't even melted yet at all.
Right. Yeah, that's very concerning. Well, thanks again for calling in and reminding us, and I'll make a video on it too, just to help get the word out there, something to be aware of, since not many people know about it.
One last, and there's a ton of gold. I mean, Oro is gold.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that they took out 1 million tons of debris from the last thing, and basically it became a big sluice. They let the water come through, and when the disaster was over, it was just like a pile of gravel and mud, and all of that got hauled away in trucks.
Sure.
And there are reports that there were piles of the dirt that were being guarded with men with rifles.
Sure.
In that area. And I figured that if for every ton of debris that they removed, there was 2.5 grams of gold in a ton, they removed 1 million tons, and that would equal $1.1 billion, which is how much they spent to fix the spillway and the disaster. So there's a lot of gold there, and I think it's money. There's a money laundering thing, and there used to be a gold mine that was never fully developed that's under the lake, and they say there's $44 billion worth of gold under there.
Wow. Okay, so there's a financial incentive.
Yeah, and it's weird because the taxpayers all have to, the federal government gave like $300 million, but California's going to have to pay for the rest. But where's all that gold that came out of all that gravel and mud that was hauled away? Sure. That would have paid for the repair, and there's no word of it. There was nothing. I mean, it's just gone.
Sure. So that means there's probably also an incentive to empty out some of that water to get to more of that land that has the gold. So.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see.
There you go.
All right. Well, you be safe out there, friend. I'll be thinking about you, and I'll put out a video.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Take care.
Stay strong.
Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. From one great caller to the next. How are you this evening?
All right, brother. This is the Starface. This is the Time Lord. This is the Time Keeper. So I'm gonna give you some good work tonight, brother. I've said a little bit, but I've been holding this back. So I need your help a little bit, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna show people the true perspective of flat Earth. So I'm gonna start with this. So if you and I, or you would agree that a carousel, when we see it, has plastic horses, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, in the flat Earth, it has more cartoons or more holograms that you can sit on. Again, the Ghost in the Shell, Wreck-It Ralph, even the last Lego movie where they build and show the numbers, that do it. But this is the most, and let me back up a little bit. Now, have you studied Manly Hall at all? Other than him being a Mason.
Did you say Manly P. Hall, or is that what you said?
Yeah, Manly P. Hall. Have you studied him at all?
Yeah, I know a little bit about Manly P. Hall, yeah.
Okay, like what the Catholic Church did. They put these things in celestial houses and they create these things. And so this is how they are created, just like they created the devil like that, but they also created flat Earth like that. And Fringe, the movie Fringe, and then there's another movie on stars. But this is the thing that shuts all of it down. Because now, do you have a conception at all of round Earth? Like, do you know that round Earth exists?
Well, I guess I couldn't say I know definitively, but in my mind, watching the sun set behind the horizon, I have trouble explaining that on a flat Earth.
Okay, I can dig that. But generally, like most people that have a conception of flat Earth also have a conception of round Earth.
Sure.
That's pretty much the general consensus. Well, when I spent time there, this is the thing. In true flat Earth, there's no conception at all of round Earth. And, just like Nevordia shows, you can spend a lifetime in a realm and come back here. It's only 10, 15 minutes. And they're reading now. Harry Potter shows the way they read, you know, with the books, with the story moving. So it took me a while to catch on to that type of reading. And if you can recall Harry Potter, they would show the story flashing through, you know, like if this person's wanted, you know, they would show a picture of him, you know, kind of moving. Their reading is a lot like that. So it took me a long time to catch on, but I finally did. And not in anywhere in their history books, any of their literature, there's no conception of round earth at all. Just like we have a conception of both. So that's another thing that that's the difference. And that's why when you hear people, you know, talking about it, you can tell they don't talk from experience or knowing. And here's another thing that you probably would like. Okay. So there's let me back up. So John Travolta made a movie, and in the movie, John Travolta, the society has changed. And for more or less, you know, all American Indians was in control. And I'm talking about what they call black folks. That's a movie. You ever saw that movie?
I haven't seen that.
Okay, you haven't seen the movie. Okay. Yeah, so that's a realm. That's a real realm. It's a realm where the South won. The federal government was destroyed and the South won. And the South, as what you saw, you know, the American Indians controlled the South. And it was almost everything was opposite. The one thing I want to mention, there was a dude from Ohio that made cars called the Patterson. And in the Patterson, that was the car. Those cars started like Jetson cars was in the early 80s. And that's how, you know, much society had changed. The Depression was, the migration from the South to the North that happened in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, that even my family was affected, actually was opposite. You had the stock market and everything crashing in the North, people going to the South. And that's where you see the John Travolta movie, where, you know, the South actually won. So, you know, slavery is not the kind of thing that they show. And then my final point is this. Okay, so there was also another thing where all the melanated people in the world were killed. Have you ever heard of that before?
I haven't.
Okay. Well, they've tried that already. They've tried where they killed all the melanated people in the world. And what they found is they found out that soon as that last person, because they had it was like a big contest and everything where they showed the last of them being killed. And what happened is it flipped, that it killed all the European people, and then they came back. And if you watched American Gods, what happened is you look at what the system we're in today, American Gods kind of shows it. Like the last episode where they finally defeat the AI. When it came back to this realm, the thing was kind of scared. It was scared to reproduce. And so that's why if you look at history from them finally coming over in 1492, this is what the hesitation was. I mean, they waited a while till they came over. And so I don't know if people understand that. I kind of want to share that a little bit. Oh, and here's another thing. Let's talk about sports a little bit. See, this is like a lot of people say that the basket manipulation and all these things aren't true, but this is the thing that people have to understand. See, in Chicago in the early 80s, they play, and it's still around the country, there's a thing called double rims, you know, rims that don't break away. Because what happened is, you know, with the single rim, you could just tear it out to glass. Well, on playgrounds, you know, places didn't want to keep putting in rims. And there's a thing called a double rim. And actually in Chicago at one time, there was 11-foot rims. We used to play on 11-foot rims. And you're talking about a person that can dunk on an 11-foot rim, that's a person that can get up. So my point is, there are people that can shoot good on that kind of rim. And that's what I want to see NBA players. I want to see some of them show me that they can make these 30, 40-foot shots and be consistent without any electronics in the rim. Because anybody goes to a pro game, and even on my Facebook page, you look at that rim, there are so many electronics in an NBA rim. So you would have to just be silly to think that they wouldn't have a way of manipulating the rim. Oh, and here's one for you, Zach. Do you know what ghosting is? And I might be good to share this with everybody. Do you know what the term ghosting is?
In terms of censoring people online?
No. So
Okay.
see, what happens is, okay, I'll give you an example. I was walking down my stairs one day, or I was in the hallway leading to my kitchen, and I look in my kitchen, and I'm standing there making coffee. Now, I'm walking towards this, but I'm standing there. And then as I put my head down to kind of walk down the stairs, I disappeared. Another example is I was driving, and when you drive and you want to beat a car to make that turn, and that can be like you go or you just stay. Well, I stayed, but yet I watched me and my car turn and go up the hill. And I remember thinking, wow, I must have been in a hurry. But for any of you that are having that spiritual kind of thing, that shows you're getting closer to awareness, but that's called ghosting.
Huh.
And that's a step towards awareness. And so, I think I've given enough tonight, but, I support you. Yeah, it has been 3 summers. So this will be 3 summers you've done your show, I think. I said 4 last week, but I think this will be 4. Oh, and you've got to get Skimmer's book on Gematria because you don't really do the divinations. And I'm telling you, Zach, man, you do the divinations, you and Derek, that the magic is going to happen even more because it's right there in your hands. The matches are the divinations, and it's right there for you. And so the gematria, where you can just take a stick and get into the sand, and you do like Eric, like I've mentioned many times before with Derek, triangular numbers are creations. That is life creations. It's the same way with the motherboard of the judge. When you have an idea, you can put these ideas where they live. So you come up with the idea, you put the motherboard of judge or the triangular numbers, and your idea lives in each of these realms, and it shows you if you're more probable or probable. So,
what's the book to pick up?
You understand? It's Gematria by Skinner.
By Skinner. Okay.
Well, and it'll show you the divinations of the work. And I hope Derek's listening too, because you guys are there, man. Like I told you, you get into awareness, Zach, and everything you use with computers, you would just be sitting there putting it out there. Okay. It would automatically come to you. I mean, you're still doing the work, but it would come to you. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Zach, again. I always support you, brother.
All right. Appreciate it, friend. Thanks for all the thoughts. You have a good night.
Okay. All right, you too, brother.
All right. Let's go out to West Virginia.
Hey, this is Bow and Arrow on YouTube, and also from Daily Dose of Gematria on Facebook. I want to enter here so they can find out where to get those business cards right here on your chat. I've been posting it a few times there. So my wife told me something this week, and I said, I've got to propose this idea because she's right. She really is. She doesn't really get the whole Gematria thing, like a lot of people, but she's right about this one thing. She says, even if you're right about this whole August 11 thing, there's still going to be a lot of people that aren't going to believe us because of this. Imagine if we knew that 9/11 was going to happen in advance, and none of us went to the World Trade Center with a bunch of signs saying, hey, something could happen here. Don't go in the towers. I'm thinking, you kind of got a point there. Maybe we should go organize, get a few hundred people down there with some signs and at least tell people, and also maybe a lot of the video cameras so we can see this if or when it happens. And we could be wrong, but, if there's a chance that the World Trade Center was going to blow up and we were wrong, it didn't happen. I mean, okay, no big deal, but if it did and we saved a bunch of people from going over the bridge or going up the towers, and so to speak, in that analogy, that would have been a big deal. And maybe we need to make a list here to get some people together and go down there. And of course, this is a big deal for me. I'll say it lightly. I mean, I make minimum wage. It's not like I could just, it's going to be difficult for me to get down there, but I'm willing to do it, just because if they're going to blow this bridge, then it's, a lot of people are going to die, no doubt. So also, I just want to throw this out there too. A couple things. Somebody was talking about the 218. Well, somebody gave me a tip, and 218 lunar months after 9/11, they imploded two cooling towers that looked like the cooling towers from The Simpsons, same kind of cooling towers of the power plant. 219 lunar months, or 18 lunar months after 9/11, they intentionally imploded those two cooling towers. Interestingly enough, 1,218 weeks before 9/11. Weeks this time, not months, but basically the same number. Still got that 218, 219 there, only one away. And they destroyed two identical looking fast cooling towers here in West Virginia, about a half an hour from where I am. Killed 51 people, but it was not an intentional one. It collapsed while they were building it, supposedly. Now, the interesting thing was the one in Massachusetts just happened here 4 or 5 days ago. Okay, that was April 27, and the one in or 26 rather, and the one that happened in West Virginia back in 1978 was on April 27th. So there has to be something to that because it's coded with the moon. Also, you guys were mentioning 35, which is really interesting because Golden Gate Bridge equals 135, like Tiger Woods. And when I was watching Bumblebee movie last week, I zoomed in on some screen pics, and I took some screen pics of two things on there. There was, on a helicopter, there was a 13553 on the tail of the helicopter, like Golden Gate Bridge. And you remember at the end of that movie, if you saw it, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee were driving across the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, also, I zoomed into Bumblebee's license plate number, which was the L89PCE. And of course, you punch that into the calculator, and in the 4-base ciphers, it's 53 and 35, repeatedly. So we have 135 on the helicopter, you know, and 53, and then 53, 35 on the license plate. And there they are going over the Golden Gate Bridge, which comes to 135. Pretty fascinating. Also, here's a whole other thing, okay? Flight 911 back on 3566. Okay, there's 35 again right there. Well, 3566, if you add 3 plus 5 plus 19 plus 66 is 93, like Flight 93 from 9/11. Well, Flight 9/11 crashed into Mount Fuji. Now, the weird thing about Flight 9/11 also is that its second stopover was in San Francisco. And it was at Heathrow Airport, which in the septenary cipher, Heathrow is 36 and Airport's 28. And so when you multiply them together, it's 1,008. So we got that 108 thing going again. Just like Mount Fuji is half of that when you multiply out Mount Fuji in the septenary cipher. You know, which is, of course, the radius of the moon and that whole progression that starts on the septenary cipher with Jesus equals 27. Double to 54, double to 108, double to 216. So you got from Jesus to the width of the moon. So the whole analogy of that, I don't know if I'm probably not making sense to some people. I apologize for that. A lot of information, but a whole lot of interesting things I have found here recently with this Flight 9/11, with the Bumblebee movie, with 135, and it just all seemed to come together over and over again. Even some of these other flights where, you know, it's Flight 370, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. The captain there of that was 53 years old, and the co-pilot's name sums to 53 in septenary. So a lot of these, there's also a Flight 811 that had a decompression event, and it wasn't 53, but the co-pilot was 27 years old. So I think it's all related. So I'm going to let it go. I know there's more people, but mainly the most important thing I wanted to say here was I wanted to see if we could get something together to maybe go down and warn people, which I think is probably a civic responsibility because we're serious that the thing's going to happen, and we have a responsibility, I think, to warn people. Worst case scenario, we're wrong. You know, nothing happens.
Sure, it's an idea. We can see if there's people who are interested in doing that. I'd be willing to go down there and raise some awareness and things that are curious about that date. But, you know, really the best way to reach people at this day and age is through the web. I mean, that's where the majority of people are. I mean, most people are living in their phone, living in the internet, living through the computer. So, you know, there should be all sorts of people in the Bay Area who've seen the work who could be helping spread it too. So, but
yeah, well, if you get anything going, you know, let us know where you're going to post it and where people will sign up, so we have an idea, you know, how many's coming and all that kind of thing. You know,
sure.
I'll get down there one way or another. I'll get there.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. We'll put out the flyer, see if anybody's up for it. So. Appreciate it, friend. All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right. We got about 30 seconds till the break. When we come back, we're going out to Philadelphia, Las Vegas, New York, Pinehurst, Texas, another New York caller, Toronto, Ontario, Asheville, North Carolina, Hayward, California, York, PA, Richmond, California, Albany, New York, some city in Maine, California, Roosevelt, Maine. I don't know. It's abbreviated. Lubbock, Texas, Florida, Minnesota, Baltimore. You guys are patient. We'll get through all the calls. We got about 10 seconds till the commercial break. When we come back, we got 2 hours left. And for the rest of the way, if callers can like keep it to one idea, one question, that'd be super helpful. All right, we'll be right back, everybody. Okay, we're on the commercial break. Again, over the break, I'll be interacting with the chat. True news, true news. I don't know if I know what that is. I'll have to look that up. True news, okay? Cigar break, all right. What's up, Dana? Welcome, Rich. Thanks for all you do, brother. What's with the bloodshot eyes? I heard that James Harden got poked in the eyes last year. I didn't know that happened to LeBron last year. But I do know from playing basketball that you can't get a finger in the eye. So I don't know if there's some deeper ritual to it, or, you know, those guys in the NBA, they're big guys. They got big hands. It could happen. So. You know, I saw that headline and I wanted to get to it. I didn't get to it yet. It's in my things to do. The 500,000 bees burned in Texas. That is a really strange story. I'd like to think that it's made up. I sure hope it is. I mean, bees already seem like they're a species going extinct. I hardly ever see bees anymore. When I was a child, I was always getting stung by them. Now it seems like a slim chance of even seeing one. So. The call for an uprising's here, and his New York Giants still disappointing him. I can tell you why they won Super Bowl 42 and 46, NYG 46, NYC 42. There's a few other things to it. I do all the sports stuff on the Patreon every day, so talking sports all day in the morning, every day. Been going 7 days straight for weeks and weeks. So if you want to talk sports in the Derby, be sure to sign up for the Patreon. We're going to be doing the Derby Friday afternoon, and we got some great clues. I'll tell you what, there's a whole lot of sixes going on this Derby. I don't know how baseball picks have been killing you. We haven't been doing baseball because baseball's off. You should be doing well in the playoffs, though, because we've been doing very well with the playoffs. All right, hold on. We're coming back from the commercial break.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch.
Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority. This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back. We got 2 hours left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. And it's Philadelphia who's up next. Before I got to the call board, I did see Hickok in the chat. Hickok has a blog. You have to write out the word 27 as a word, 27 decoding. If you do a web search for that, his blog should come up. He's doing a lot of great work there. And the glitch in your matrix. He's a man in the Bay Area who's been trying to get the word out about August 11th. The glitch in your matrix. All right. Let's go out to Philadelphia.
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
Good, good. So real quick, I want to call your attention to some very interesting album artwork. The name of the band is called Flotsam and Jetsam, and the name of the album is called The End of Chaos. Interestingly enough, the album came out this year on January 18th.
Huh.
118. Anyway, in the background, there's a city that's smoldering in ruins, and it appears to be in New York because in the foreground, there's this demonic-like creature standing in floodwaters. He's holding the Statue of Liberty's torch in his right hand, and his left hand is lowered into the water, but it appears to be carrying something, and I can't make out what it is.
I'm trying to make it out too. I can't make out what it is either, so I even had to lift my glasses. Yeah, I wonder what that is.
Yeah, but I mean, this is just more what appears to be predictive programming. We see this scenario a lot in movies and whatnot, with New York being flooded and just New York being underwater and some catastrophic. And it's just this band is not a very popular band. I mean, they have a cult following. They're a thrash metal band that's been around since the mid '80s. But it just surprises me that they don't have a large following, that they would do something like this or have this type of artwork made for their albums.
Sure. Did you look at who their record label is?
I think it's No Blade Records. Could be wrong about that though.
Okay. See if they're part of a bigger record company. But yeah, that is very interesting. The date it came out and the symbolism. Yeah, I'm looking right at the album cover. The End of Chaos. So.
Right. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. That's all I got pretty much.
Well, I appreciate it. It is a great observation, and if something does go down August 11th, I'll definitely remember this album cover. And you are right; it does look like it's New York City because you do see him carrying around the torch from the Statue of Liberty. Maybe somebody can look at that and figure out what is in the other hand that he's dragging through the water. To me, it looks like it's like a giant lobster or something, but I think it's something else. So,
yeah,
it's very interesting. All right, well, I appreciate it, friend. Thank you.
All right. You have a good night now.
All right. Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Take care.
All right. Let's go out to Las Vegas.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
What's going on, Zach? How's everything?
Things are all right, man.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, I wanted to call in because I wanted to tell you that I read into your book and I finished the first 4 chapters and then I skipped down to the rigged sports games and wow, I'm stunned and I have to tell you that my entire perception of reality has changed. I can't look at the world the same once I see these numbers because they're not coincidental. You know, especially there was a number that was specific. I seen the whole Michael Jordan 678 thing coming in Sumerian Gematria. Both Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant summoned the 678. They finished their careers 678 weeks apart on the nose on the same day that the Warriors and and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson had a teammate record combined 678 3-pointers. So I thought that was pretty crazy and undeniable proof that these are definitely rigged games by the numbers.
Absolutely.
So I thought that was very, very interesting.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and also I looked into my own how Gematria, the organic side of the Gematria, and I noticed that I was born on the 210th day of the year, leaving 155 days left in the year. And in ordinal, my name sums to 155. Then when you type in my name and my mother's maiden name, it sums to 69. My name equals 69. Then I also found another thing. The city I'm born in, Las Vegas, I think it has a gematria of 41 or something like that. And then I was born on the day with 41 numerology. And then there was a whole bunch of other things, but anyway, those are the main things that I've seen with my gematria. But yeah, man, the book is great, dude. Great book, great work. People should really look into that because I was following your work before, but it's not until I actually started walking into the book that I actually started to see how these patterns work, and I'm actually able to do my own decodes on the games now. You know, like I can do it on my own now because I read the book, and I think it's pretty awesome.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. Yeah, you're right on. If people would just read the book, and like you said, you read the first 4 chapters, and then you skipped to the sports chapter. I mean, so you probably read maybe 100, 150 pages, and you are a world ahead, and that's exactly how it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the craziest thing, though, that happened is because, so it's weird because I started reading the book, and then it's crazy because it's like my, somebody started like phone tapping my phone, like phone writing my phone. Like, I'll be on the phone now, and like there'll be like another voice on the phone, and I'll be like, I'll be talking to someone. I'll be like, do you hear that voice over the phone? And they'll be like, no, I don't hear any voice. What are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know if that has something to do with because I started reading this book or, you know, finding about this knowledge. I have no idea, but ever since I started reading the book, that started happening to me. So I'm just like, it's a crazy world out here, how things just start happening when you start looking into knowledge and stuff. So, because I know you mentioned that some things happen to you, but, you know, for exposing this knowledge and putting this knowledge out there. So I thought that was strange, but, what else? Oh, and what was I gonna say? So it's weird too because ever since you started, when I started looking into the, you know, because you know you started expanding certain numbers like about the sports and stuff, and I started looking into it, and they actually changed some people's birthdays and lied about some stats and stuff just so, you know, it doesn't look relevant or it doesn't look crazy. And I'm like, wow, like they're really changing people's birthdays and doing all types of crazy stuff. So
Right. Like an example of that is the star football player at Louisville, who's now in the NFL on the Ravens. He came in as the 19-year-old phenom, Lamar Jackson, right after Muhammad Ali died, and they had the 19-mile funeral procession in Louisville for Muhammad Ali. And of course, 19 is the number of the Quran code. And for that whole football season, his first season there at Louisville, his birthday was the exact same as Muhammad Ali's. And then once he went to the NFL, they changed his birthday to 10 days, either before or after. I can't remember now. I think they moved it 10 days before. But for his whole rookie season, his birthday was listed as the same as Muhammad Ali's. And then once he got out of the league, out of college, then all of a sudden he had a new birthday. So I was like, look at that.
Yeah, I noticed that. That you just mentioned that. I remember seeing that. And I also remember there was a certain stat about Brady that you put out about on in your book. And when I looked up to that stat, they actually tried to change the dates around and make it look all crazy because and another thing I noticed that was pretty crazy. So you notice how Brady and Nick Foles and Kurt Warner were all backup quarterbacks, and they all had a connection playing each other. And then next thing you know, each of them went on to lead their team to the Super Bowl. How ironic is that, right?
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, that's just one example, but there's many more. So,
of course.
But other than that, man, like I said, great work on the book, and shout out to all the callers today. There was a lady that was mentioning something about Jay Parker. The satanic, he was satanic ritually abused. I follow his work. He's a great person to look into if you want to find out more information. Who else? There's a couple other guys. Stevan Bomar. He wrote the book Code to the Matrix. Actually, that's a great book as well. There's a ton of knowledge over there. I don't know if you heard of that book or not, but it's called A Code to the Matrix. It's a great book. Who else? Mark Passio is a good person for people to look into. And what else? So on the news, they said something about call for an uprising, and for some reason in the back of my head, I was thinking about the YouTube channel call for the uprising, but then I think they were talking about something else on the news today when they mentioned the call for the uprising. I'm not sure what they were talking about, but yeah, man. Other than that, that's pretty much all I had to equate for today. But anyway, great callers today. Great information. People should really check out your book and get the knowledge because that's what's really helping me out, and it's taking me to a whole nother wave when it comes to understanding this code. So, and I think you mentioned that. I think I remember you mentioning that you were coming out with another book soon. Is that Gematria Database as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm behind schedule on it. So still working on it, but it will be done.
Oh yeah.
All right, friend.
Man. I mean, you put a lot of work into that, into this book, man. I mean, my plan is to finish the whole book. I did read the first 4 chapters, then I skipped down to the sports section, but I'm going to go back and read the rest of the chapters, and wow, and it's very enlightening. It's very enlightening, and once you really dwell deep into it, the numbers can almost like overwhelm you because I'm just sitting there and I'm just like so shocked at the numbers of how these things are perfectly lined up and scripted, and it's really a shame that we're being mocked this way. It's really a shame that we've been mocked this way.
It is. It is.
And
Caller, I love your passion for the work and that you're putting out all this good information, but I got to keep it moving, man. Like I said, if people could just come in with one great question, one great idea, because there's so many people on hold each week. So I got to keep it moving, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. I just wanted to make those quick little points.
All right. All right, man.
Everybody that called in, they're doing a good job. So.
All right. You have a good night, man. That guy would be the best. I love that guy, but he would be the best at filibustering. Even when we're wrapping up, he's like, hold on, I got a few more points. This is like, come on, man, I got to move. I'm just telling you, I got to move on to the next caller. All right, let's go out to New York.
Thanks again, Zach. I'll keep it at 1 point.
Hey, man, good to hear your voice.
Yeah, appreciate it. Last week, I spoke about the London Marathon. I made the mistake of not looking at the numbers on the prohibitive favorite and the greatest marathoner of all time, Eliud Kipchoge of Kenya, who has won 10 out of his last 11 marathons, including the Olympic marathon, and it's the holder of the marathon world record and second best ever marathon time. I also didn't look at the women's field, despite my recent focus on the divine feminine in symbolism and ritual played out in news events often featuring prominent women and revealed through Gematria. Without looking at any other runners, I jumped on British runner of Somali origin, Mo Farah, based on how he matched up to the Nipsey Hussle story and the number 51. Nipsey Hussle had London and marathon coded all over his narrative. He had a girlfriend named London and the marathon album titles and clothing line. The marathon has Gematria of 51. London is on the 51st parallel. The inaugural London Marathon was on a date with 51 numerology. The most recent London Marathon that was just run also was on a date with 51 numerology. The phrase capital of England equals 51 in septenary. From Mo Farah's birthday to the London Marathon date was 5 weeks and 1 day. But had I looked, I would have seen that the first name of the winner, Eliud Kipchoge, Eliud also has Gematria of 51. And had I looked at the women's field, the name of the eventual winner would have jumped out at me. I'm not saying that I would have necessarily picked her as a lock to win, but her name was significant in regards to what I have been focusing on over the past month. Representations of the divine feminine principle, primarily in the form of historical goddesses, and how, combined with Gematria, they are coded into the news. The most common representation of the divine feminine is Venus, the Roman goddess of love. Presently, and at the time of the London Marathon, April 28th, we are under the zodiac sign of Taurus. Taurus, which is ruled by the planet Venus. The Celtic version of the goddess Venus is the goddess Brigid, Brigid. The winner of the women's London Marathon was a Kenyan, same nationality as the male winner, named Brigid Kosgei. She became the youngest ever winner of the women's London Marathon. Brigid Kosgei was born on January 20th, 1994, the 51st day of the year. So 51 was indeed the operative number for the London Marathon. There was also a Saturnian/time ritual involved. Saturn is Chronos, the ruler of time. London is related to time, being on the 0 meridian, from which all world time zones are determined. Hence, the Big Ben clock tower in London. Kenyans won both the male and female races. In Gematria, Kenyan and Chronos with a K match in 3 out of 4 base cipher values, 70, 92, and 29. 29 being a huge major ritual number. Also think about the sport of marathon running. It is based on time, which is what Saturn rules. Other sports are based on points or goals or runs or height or judging. Marathon running is a time-related sport. Let's look at the male winner, Eliud Kipchoge's birthday, November 5th, or 5th November, 115 or 511, the number of Saturn in Jewish Gematria. There are 2 other places we have famously seen November 5th. One is the time travel movie Back to the Future, where Marty McFly travels back in time from 1985 to November 5th, 1955. That is Saturday, November 5th, 1955. Saturday named after Saturn, Saturn Day. Eliud Kipchoge, listed as 5'5", 5'5" in height. In Gematria, clock tower has a value of 55. Back to the Future and London both feature clock towers. Needless to say that both Eliud Kipchoge and Brigitte Kosgei are both sponsored by Nike, whose swoosh logo represents part of the rings around Saturn. Just as Marty McFly in Back to the Future wore Nike high tops. In Gematria, Nike swoosh comes to 51, a major number for the marathon. Eliud Kipchoge's marathon world record is 2 hours, 1 minute, and 39 seconds. That's 2, 1, and 39. The Gematria of Nike comes to 21 and 39. And remember, this is the 39th London Marathon. Kipchoge's world record was set at the Berlin Marathon. In Gematria, Berlin comes to 29. In 2012, Big Ben Clock Tower was officially named in honor of Queen Elizabeth, Elizabeth Tower. Do a Gematria comparison of Elizabeth Tower and Brigitte Kosgei, and you get a perfect match in 3 out of 4 base ciphers. Saturn is Kronos. Kronos, spelled with a K, comes to 29, a major Saturnian dark occult number. From Back to the Future time travel date of November 5th, 1955, to Eliud Kipchoge's birthday, November 5th, 1984, is 29 years. Kipchoge's birthday has a life number of 29. From Brigitte Kosgei's 2019 birthday, February 20th, to the London Marathon date was 29 days. Her name, Brigitte Kosgei, had Gematria of 209, numerologically equivalent to 29. Also, Mecca equals 29. Mecca, some people feel should be the 0 meridian, is on the 39th meridian, and also related to Saturn with the black cube, Kaaba. At the holy site in Mecca is the biggest clock in human history, the Royal Mecca Clock Tower. There is also synchronicity around the number 74. Brigitte Kosgei equals 74. Kipchoge equals 74. 0 meridian equals 74. Big Ben Clock Tower equals 74. Elizabeth Tower equals 74. If you spell out 74, it has Gematria of 55, the other number related to the time sheet. Nike has a store in Soho, Manhattan, in New York City that is 55,000 square feet, by no coincidence. The other famous November 5th is Guy Fawkes Day in England, when Jesuit Catholics attempted to blow up the British Houses of Parliament in what has become known as the Gunpowder Plot of 1605. Big Ben did not exist at the time, but would be built at the north end of the Parliament complex known as the Palace of Westminster. In Gematria, Guy Fawkes matches clock tower and time travel in 2 out of 4 base ciphers, 125 and 44. Clock tower and time travel match in 3 out of 4 base ciphers. Big Ben is currently closed for a 4-year renovation project. It closed on August 21st, 2017. The 21st day of the month, and a date with 21 numerology and 39 numerology. 21 and 39, the Gematria values of 90. And as I mentioned earlier, Eliud Kipchoge's marathon world record is 2 hours, 1 minute, and 39 seconds. 21:39.
And I don't know if you're going to say it, but what I remember about them closing Big Ben is it stood out to me that they did it on the date of the Great American Solar Eclipse, which is, you know, a special moment in time.
That's significant. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And right. So lastly, there was a runner in the London Marathon who ran in a Big Ben costume. He got well over 7 million views on Twitter. His name is Lucas Bates. Lucas spelled Lukas. Lucas Bates has Gematria of 21 and in secondary cipher 39. Lucas Bates also sums to 69, like Saturn, it sums to 69. Also, his 118 seems to be everywhere. Eliud Kipchoge, when he broke the world record, he beat the previous record by 1 minute and 18 seconds. 118.
Huh. Amazing.
And the London Marathon was held on the 118th day of the year.
Right. Huh.
So yeah, that's it. Okay.
Well, perfect timing because we're going to commercial break. Amazing work as always, friend. Thank you so much. Are things getting better? Oh,
yeah, they're getting better. Taking help from the community.
Very cool. Very cool. Stay strong, friend. Always appreciate you, man. Keep it up. All right, we're on the commercial break again. Jeremy's got another one for me. Look up Shabbat Chazon. It's the day before August 11th and known as the Black Sabbath. Huh, very interesting. Okay, another good one, Jeremy. Let me see. Got to remember these things. Amber Geiger. I need that name's in why do I remember that name? But I forget. There's just so many news stories. Amber Geiger. Oh, yeah, that was right at the beginning of the NFL season. That was one of the many 26 riddles right at the start of the NFL season where we were just overwhelmed with 26 stories. And, of course, last year's NFL season was all about 26, the AFC getting his 26th Super Bowl. Yeah, I still have videos up on my Gematria Effect news channel. I bet you if you search Amber Geiger over there, that story was either Friday or Saturday, right after the NFL season began. So I've done at least 2 videos on her. Yeah, I remember now. I remember that story. Well, the reason some of you guys have wrenches on this channel is because I didn't take them away on this channel. This isn't the channel I normally do the live stream on. We're just doing it on here because my other channel is suspended right now. Suspended for no reason at all. What's up, Jesse? Dispensary marijuana? Well, it depends. I mean, ask them. Is it GMO? Is it organic? So it just depends on where you go. The suspension's 1 week long. So, but if I get another strike, then it's 2 weeks, and then it's on the verge of being deleted. So. All right, we're coming back from the commercial. All right, we're back. We got an hour and a half left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. Somebody in the chat said, "Where's Young Dakota?" And Young Dakota, he called in a couple of weeks ago. He just said, you know, he gets it, and he just wants to focus on other things in life right now, which is fine because what is he, 15 years old? So he's probably just trying to have some fun. But let's go out. Pinehurst, Texas is up next.
What's up, Zach? How you doing?
Doing well.
Got a little feedback on the line here.
Yeah, it sounds
Anyway,
different.
I got my headphones on. Maybe that's it. Maybe if I take them off, it'd be better. You still got that feedback?
No, it's coming through on your end, but how is it now?
I don't hear anything now.
Okay.
All right. I got two items. First one revolves around the Green New Deal. And I'm not sure if you've done the gematria on that, but they're going to go ahead with this thing, it looks like. And if you don't already know, it's really coming from the Vatican, the whole policy. And it goes back to a 2015 encyclical called Laudato Si. And I'll leave it for your informed audience to look that up. But Laudato Si flows into climate change legislation, which brings us the new Green Deal. And there's a number of articles on it. And what they want to do is an ecological conversion. Okay. And I believe, I'm pretty sure on this, this is going to lead to a national Sunday law. I'm pretty sure of it. And that'll happen after a major event where we need to take a day off. But that's just a personal prediction. But anyway, if you look at the gematria of Green New Deal, the English ordinal is 113.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, and you got 59, 211, and 58. Very auspicious numbers.
Yeah. Indeed.
But anyway, the second thing I want to bring up is, you know, after whatever happens after 8/11 is going to radically change how people communicate and express their ideas because they're probably clamped down on it. And I was wondering if you had taken or thought about any measures that you might, alternate platforms you might be looking at.
Well, I'm just reminded again that I need to get my own website built so I don't have to worry about this censorship thing. I mean, even if I have my own website, it can still be censored, but just being on Google is just, it's the worst because they just any day they can just take you down whenever they feel like it for no reason at all. They can call anything hate speech, even if there's zero hate speech in it. It's just, it's a joke. So.
Right. I agree with you. The reason why I bring this up is because a friend of mine down in New Zealand, he is filling me in on what's the repercussions of what happened after Christchurch. Are you aware there's a $10,000 fine for anyone who shares that video of the massacre online?
Well, I heard there's a monetary penalty and you can be jailed.
Yep. Very. And he pointed this out because a researcher who's rather even-minded and very level-headed, Max Egan, who's done some very good analysis. He was recently kicked off of YouTube because of his analysis and research. So that's just a foretaste of what will probably happen later on this year. Not that Google really heard.
Sure. Well, yeah, exactly. Because just interjecting that this is happening in the world is just a sign of things to come. I mean, this isn't going to be an isolated incident. This is showing what's going to become the norm in more and more places worldwide. And yeah, it's
the reason why I bring that up is because whatever happens after Tisha B'Av, August 11th, and if it's on the magnitude that we feel it's going to be, you just won't be able to do stuff like this on YouTube. You may be able to do it on some other streaming platform, but certainly not on YouTube. Just won't happen. I'm pretty sure of it. And I'm pretty sure they're trying to clean out YouTube for the next election cycle. So that's just some observations. And I hope that you take, everybody wants to stay in contact with you and make sure your work is supported. So, but everybody sees you and comes to YouTube. And while I think,
Caller, are you there? Shoot, I think his call dropped. He's still there. Oh, you're still there. Can you hear me? Shoot, your signal was lost. You're still there, but we can't hear you. Okay. Well, I'll finish his thought for him. I heard where he's going. He's saying, we need to take measures because we see the censorship, we see the writing on the wall. So how do we maintain a spot where we can continue to speak out? And I've been thinking about that. If you can tell, I'm not in the greatest mood today. I'm actually really annoyed. I've been annoyed ever since they took down my video for hate speech. Because, I've already just been through all this. And I'm just so sick of it. It's just like, these people have no balls. They're the most disgusting people that there ever was. And it's just so irritating. It's just so irritating, man. And then the other thing that's even more irritating is the sleeping masses who never wake up and everything's a coincidence and they just believe everything that's on the news and that's the only thing that's believable. It's just, it's such a mountain to overcome. I'm always going to continue to climb the mountain. I don't care how high the mountain is, but yeah, the writing's on the wall for my YouTube channel again, So it's in a way, I'm amazed that I've been able to keep my channel up since July at the rate it was getting deleted. I was going through a new channel about once every 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, I need to get a website built. So I wish I had the skills to do it myself. I don't like to have other people help me. Those of you who've been around, you know that I raised money in 2016 to build the All for Truth website. And the purpose of that site was to be like a Facebook for truth seekers, so people could organize and find people in their community and establish real relationships and, just find out who's out there, who's near me that actually cares about the truth so I don't feel so lonely and isolated. And then the larger goal was for once we had established these smaller groups to form larger groups and figure out ways to meet up and have, greater collaboration. And 2 young men who are about the same age as me reached out to me, and with the funds I raised, they built that site, and it was awesome. But then it turned out that they were, agents. They deleted the website, and then they tried to make me look bad. And anyway, so it just reminded me, it's hard to know who to trust in this world. There's just so many people out there that, they're up to no good. So anyway, I do need to get a site built. The same thing, that All for Truth website, it needs to be built again, and it needs to have video hosting. It's just all these things are really expensive. Video hosting is really expensive. So to build a website and maintain a database of videos, I don't know if that's feasible. I think we need a lot more resources than we have now. So, but I'll look into it. Could be a website where, you keep up videos or so long for a week or a month and then let everybody know, hey, if you want these videos, you got to download them because now we got to put up the new batch of videos. So I'll have to figure it out. Let's go out to New York City. New York, going once. Maybe you're just listening to New York. All right.
Yeah, hello?
Right. Yeah. You're there.
Yeah, I was just listening.
Oh, you're just listening?
But I could contribute though.
Sure. Go ahead.
Let's see. Where should we start?
New York, you still there? Oh, weird. New York, I don't know what happened. I didn't do it. Somehow it muted your call.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on now, man. So what were you going to say? Sorry about that.
Mayday. Hello?
Yeah, you're on. You're on. Mayday.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go with it.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know. May 1st, 111. Venezuela, 111. Homeboy, you decoding all this bullshit. The lotto yesterday was 111. It's May 1st.
Huh.
But anyway, I just wanted to contribute. Stop being stagnant, or I don't know. I don't know. You having fun with it, but good show. I contribute. Mayday. Hello?
I appreciate it. Good observation. Yeah, it's weird how the lotto seems to sync up with major world events. We've seen that time and time again. So great observation, caller.
No, it's bullshit. You know, all this, it's all, but oh yeah, I don't know if that Statue of Liberty probably would have fit in his whole little mantra too, because they closing, you can't go in no more. And it like towards Ramadan, I think they're gonna stop it.
Really?
But, yeah. Anyway, and I'm fasting for Ramadan. Holla. Anyway, have a good show though. Have a good show.
All right, thank you, friend. I appreciate it. You have a good night. So they're closing up the Statue of Liberty for tours? I got to look into that. That's interesting. Toronto, Ontario?
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Hi, Zach. Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Oh, great. I love your show. I support you totally. My name is Nika. Just quickly, first of all, I love your book. I just got it a few weeks ago, and I read the first chapter and started the second. And I'm glad there's a lot of 26s. It kind of lays out the foundation for until I go into the rest of the chapters,
Right.
So I'm still a little green in it, but I find it very helpful. But just quickly, I see the rigged in football because I've been watching football. I grew up a little bit of a tomboy. I had like 14 male cousins, and we always gambled on football. So I see the rig in there since I was 16. But I just can't spot it in hockey. Like I used to be a hostess at the Air Canada Centre where they have the Toronto Maple Leaf games. But I know they give us a sheet where the whole night is preset. So I know what time the national anthem comes on. I know blah, blah, blah. Everything comes on at a certain time. I just can't pick up because when they score, they seem so excited. The play-by-play rigs in hockey. Is there anything, like, if you're able to answer it, I mean, you might just say keep studying your gematria or whatever, but is there anything that can give you the smoking gun in hockey?
Sure. So we decode hockey every day on Patreon, and we hit the games with a pretty high percentage rate. Let's just go to that recent Sharks game. The Sharks picked up their 113th playoff win all time on the 113th day of the year, and maybe the most miraculous comeback of all time in playoff history. They were down 3-0 with 10 minutes and 47 seconds left in the final period. And that's when this clock was stopped because of the cross-check that was called a 5-minute major. And in that 5-minute power play, they scored 4 goals, taking a 4-3 lead. And, of course, San Jose equals 43. What I documented that night is I was actually sitting there anxious. There's a guy who bets, I don't even think he needs to bet. He's wealthy. He bets thousands of dollars every night on my hockey picks, and he's made a ton of money. And he put so much on that Sharks riddle because he really liked it. And I was thinking, well, that guy's already made it. Because, when they were down 3-0, I was like, where is this riddle going wrong? There were a few other things besides the 1-1-3 thing. But when they were down 3-0, I was like, are they really going to lose? And I was also doing my decode while the game was going on in the background. And just before that cross-check penalty happened, a story emerged. If you know CNN's front page, they'll have 3 picture stories on the front page. And in the right corner, what popped up just before the penalty was that there was a shark attack in Hawaii. And I thought, interesting. A shark attack's breaking right now. They're down. The Sharks are down 3-0. I wonder if anything crazy could happen here. And the next thing you know, you got the major penalty, and next thing you know, the Sharks are all of a sudden in the lead 4-3 just moments later. And it's like, God, when was the last time I ever saw a comeback like this in hockey? I mean, it's probably happened before, but it's definitely not common. Anyway, just look at some of the stories that are circulating right now. Von Miller, the star defensive player for the Denver Broncos, the day before the Colorado and Sharks hockey series begins, you get a story about Von Miller getting off the hook for catching a shark illegally. Did you see that story?
No, I didn't.
But this stuff's everywhere if you just pay attention to these news headlines. The day before the Columbus series starts, a story about a ship sinking, a Columbus replica ship in Corpus Christi, Texas. And when you decode these stories, you start to see like, oh wow, they're coding the numbers that are relevant to the series. So yeah, the entire world of the NHL is fixed no differently than the rest of the world of sports. And they do the same things. It's like one of the biggest attractions in the NHL for the players is Sidney Crosby. He wears the number 87. His birthday's August 7th. National Hockey League's 87, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all the same, really.
Well, you know what? Thanks for all that information. I noticed one thing. I keep looking at it, and I noticed all their jersey numbers. So many of them are like either doubles, or they equal 7, or they equal 11.
Sure. Yeah.
All the hockey jerseys. You know? Yeah. So when they score, I go, let me look at that number, right? And, 11 or I go, geez, all their hockey shirts either equal. There's not too many. They don't go too far off either with doubles, or they equal 7. Two numbers equal 7, or they equal 8. All those kind of gematria numbers,
Right.
But I just thought that was interesting, if you really look at the game. But well, you know what? That's really helpful. I'm gonna keep looking at that. Thank you for your help.
Sure. And just another recent story: a young player for the Colorado Avalanche. He just got drafted, and then 2 days later, he's playing for the Avalanche in the playoffs, and he's a defensive player, and he scores a goal in his first game. Read the article about that. All the headlines say the same thing in the opening paragraph, that TV networks wish they could script a story like that. It's just such a mocking. It's like, yeah, they wish they could script it. Obviously, they did.
I've been hearing that a lot. Yeah. I've been hearing that a lot lately. Oh, they couldn't have scripted it any better. Maybe they know we're on to them now,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Some of them, just quickly, so obvious, like Tampa Bay losing 4 straight to Columbus, Ohio. Tampa Bay killed everybody this year, and suddenly they lose 4 straight.
And look at that riddle. The 8 seeds won 8 games, and the 1 seeds only won 1 game. 1-8. It's the 2018-19 season. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I could talk to you forever, but I know you have to go. But I love your show.
Well, thank you so much. We don't normally talk hockey, so I'm glad you called in and brought that very Canadian question. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll call you again sometime, but thank you.
All right, you have a good evening. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, let's go out to Asheville, North Carolina.
Hey, Zach, what's going on, man?
What's going on? Thanks for calling. Hey, man, good to hear from you.
Yeah, I know it's been a while. I just want to say thank you for taking my call, and I'm constantly humbled by your amazing skills. Wow, man. And I just wanted to ask you a question.
Please.
You bought that 54 acres yet?
Okay, you want to know what's hilarious? So that was like the last time we talked. I was like, I got to go do that, right? So I go out there. Yeah. I go for a walk, and the sign's down. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? What, did it just sell? This is a reminder of why you have to seize the moment. So since we've last talked, I can't believe how fast this place got built too. That land's been bought, and they built this giant storage facility there. And I'm just like, what in the world do they even need a storage facility here for? So yeah, that land's not even available, and it's now already a storage facility that's bought or built.
All of people's BS.
Yeah. So
yeah, man. I mean, I was feeling it when I called you and was like, no, 54, Trinity LLC, 54, large business, 54. Gotta just get this man on the phone and tell him. And I'm definitely not the best decoder in the world. I design all my products around the code that you taught me. And I got to tell people, if you own a business, like this is like, you want to talk about organic gematria, bring it into your business, bring it into what you do. And then like, look at things like your zip code, your area code, and things like that. And you'll notice that like the system in your area numerologically will like line up with your like regional numbers. And those phone numbers can then be like accessed. That's like a little trick I learned. And it's, what's interesting is a lot of times in your zip code and area code, the extension of the person you're going to want to talk to is going to be like a numerical derivative. So that was just, you know, I don't do a lot of like the headlines and stuff. I'm either, yo, it's Mystery Babylon, or it's like not. And so I generally try to like take myself to the not.
Sure.
But I'm, like I said, man, I'm just constantly like blown away by like your wisdom on the numbers, and I just want to thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and it's good to hear from you. I figured you've been busy because I know you're a farmer, and this is the time of year you're getting down to business. So,
well, you know, I mean, everybody should be a farmer, and the reason is because you become a producer, and when you're a producer, you're never going to run out of work. You're never going to not have a job, because in a world of people that don't know how to fish, you just got to start casting it out there and reeling in what it is you're good at and what you love to do. And like, I mean, I'd like to say my last year was my best year, and the year before that was my best year, but this year's my best year.
huh. Awesome. Very cool. Everybody, this is Fermenti. For people who don't know, funny thing was he called in to the live stream the night of the blue light in New York, and he was venting about how he puts his services out there for free to get people into fermented foods, and nobody takes him up on it. But that night you had a big response, right?
Oh man, it was interesting. I paid out like almost, by the end of it, I almost paid out $800 to
oh my
give
goodness
everybody their fermenting kits and the information they wanted and the samples and stuff. But man, I tell you what, this year so far, because of like me putting myself out there and trying to like show support and be just a human being, you know, we had our first 4-digit market the other day.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And 2 of the people that heard me on that came all the way up from another state just to like talk with me and make purchases with me. And so like, that's the kind of like natural gematria that, you know, I mean, like all together, you know, that played a key role in being able to say those things, because, you know, that night numerically for me actually had like 54 days later, something happened for me. So like, it's just bring it into what you do. And like, I mean, what you do on a daily basis, and then make sure you love it. And like the whole code and the numerical system, like for me now, I look at those headlines, like what you taught me in the beginning, it was like, wow, that's fucking deep. I'm sorry. That's really deep. But as soon as I like made that leap, you know, of like including it that way in like through love, that came into my life in a way where now it's like reading the Matrix lines.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm glad to hear that, man. That's awesome. So it's a great story.
Oh yeah, and I'll eat your ferments, and like, awesome show.
Thanks so much, friend. Really good to hear your voice. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, man. Don't hesitate on the next piece.
Right. Yeah, you're right about that. That's the lesson learned. So, all right. You have a good evening. You take care.
All right. Peace.
All right. All right. We got about a minute until the next break. So I'm going to hold on to the next caller. That'll be Richmond, California, then maybe Roosevelt, Maine, California, then Lubbock, then Bradenton, Florida, then South Tahoe, and right on down the line. Van Nuys, California, New York City, York, PA, Brattleboro, Vermont, Sit tight. We'll get to all the calls. But yeah, seizing the moment, it is real important. You guys might have heard me say that there was that lot not far from where I live, 54 acres, and it was whoever was selling it. It wasn't like some corporation. They just had up a piece of plywood with spray paint and a phone number. And I went by it several times, and I just kept thinking, man, I wonder how much that costs. You could probably start a truth community there. But anyway, yeah, that lot's been built or bought and already built up, paved, and all these big metal storage units are there now. And I couldn't believe how fast they put it all up, but it made me think, man, I guess it's not going to be a truth community. So it's okay. There's other parcels of land, but the moral of the story is, seize the moment. Otherwise, it might disappear. And I need to keep that in mind with getting a website built. So, all right, we'll be right back, Truth Seeker. Sit tight. Okay, interacting with the chat here for a few minutes while we're on the commercial break. Well, it's not the end of the world. The more I thought about it, I mean, my thought was it was a nice big plot of land. You could probably have a lot of people living there. But the downside was it's still kind of, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was too close to other communities. Like my neighborhood's not too far away. I don't know. If you did something like that, maybe you'd want to be a little bit more isolated. I'm not sure about that. So anyway, now it's going to be a big old storage facility. What's Gematria Effect or Gematria Effect? Well, that's the name of this show. It's the name that was given from Truth Frequency Radio when they asked me to do a show. I didn't get to name the show myself. I wanted to call it Free to Find Truth. That's what the show would have been called if I named it. But they wanted Gematria Effect. And you know what's funny? Part of the reason I didn't want the name is because when I saw the numerical value of it, if you just use the alphabetic order, it sums to 119. And what's funny about that is YouTube suspended Gematria Effect news on the 119th day of the year. And I don't think that's any accident, just like how I don't think it's an accident that my book got banned on the 74th day of the year. So I have that Free to Find Truth logo. That's the only logo I have. My buddy made that for me back in Seattle. Yeah, that Pacific Rim scene in August 11th. Yeah, it is August 11th in that film. There's nothing wrong with 119. It's just, it's a favorite number of the gang, but there's nothing wrong with any of the numbers. I just didn't want people saying, oh, your show equals 119. You always talk about that number. Because then they go, yeah, I know, but I didn't name the show. It's the name they gave me. They're pretty flexible around here, but they weren't flexible at all about the show name, which I always thought was funny. Okay, we're coming back from the commercial break here.
Obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question 3. This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. We got an hour left. And, there was something I was going to say, but I forgot. So we'll just go out to the callers. Richmond, California. How are you?
Hey, Zach, I was really just listening tonight, but I was just going to throw in this real quick. I just was looking at the characters now involved in the Nipsey Hussle situation, and his friend Kerry was just released, and his new lawyer's name is Lauren Noriega.
Huh.
She's a trail lawyer, so she's like some young lawyer that takes cases for rappers. So her last case was some dude named Young Bosco, or Bosco something, he's a blood from Los Angeles.
Okay.
I was just looking at all the characters, so the chief of police in Los Angeles that reported the story, name was Michael Moore, which is like the movie director.
Right.
And then you had Eric Holder, Nipsey Hussle, like all the characters in the stories, names don't really seem real.
Right. And the O.J. Simpson
Now,
prosecutor. The O.J. Simpson prosecutor, too.
Yeah, O.J. Simpson prosecutor. It's like you got too many different, and then now his friend Kerry's lawyer's name is Lauren Noriega. It's like, okay, now it's just really over the top.
Right. It is over the top.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there.
I appreciate it. I'll look it up.
Yeah, good show tonight, man. Just listening.
All right, thanks.
The rest of the show.
All right, you have a good night. Thank you. He's always really good about just keeping it right to the point. Let's go out to RSVL, California. That's what it shows on my screen.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, hi. So I've been looking into the European soccer stuff, and I think it's really interesting that on the day that Luis Suarez for Barcelona had 131 goals, he scored his goal against Liverpool, his former team. And I feel like you could reach a lot larger market if you were to look at the European stuff, because there's just so many people that bet on European soccer in Europe, like Spain and England, especially with Ladbrokes and all that stuff. And I feel like there's something really interesting going on with Ajax being in the Europa League final and now being in the Europa League, the UEFA Champions League final potentially soon. And I think that Eintracht Frankfurt was founded in 1899, the same year as Barcelona. So I think there's a chance there that Barcelona could win as Eintracht Frankfurt won the Europa League. Really appreciate your work, and that's pretty much it for me. Also, one thing is every school system, they have a different time that they get out of school. So I feel like there might be something there with how they set up these shootings and things like that, and the gematria there about what the release time is there.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, great tip. I know you're definitely right about European football, and I'll work on it. So I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
All right, yeah, you have a good night. Yeah, the world's into football. someday it's going to happen. We're going to have a Gematria Effect news. There's going to be a team of people, and all of these things are going to happen. And to me, it's kind of depressing that it hadn't happened already. I mean, I demonstrated years ago how important this work was. And when I first started back in 2013, I thought that some wealthy person who cared about the world would step up and be like, you know what, I'm going to finance this and help all this happen and turn this into a real news network and get a team of people. And it still can happen, but it's just, we're getting into more and more dangerous times. And, like the caller said earlier, are we going to be able to speak out, by next year, or is it going to be totally shut down? So, I mean, that's a legitimate question. That's something to think about. And, even if you have your own website, I mean, like the example of what just went down in New Zealand, if you had the video, if it was found on your computer, you could be fined and jailed. I mean, things like that are just going to continue. So the greatest disappointment to me is that, there's just so many mega wealthy people in this world that just sit on fortunes, trust fund babies. I mean, to me, it's just like, seriously, in this age of viral information, in the internet age, nobody came out of the woodwork to help out. So, I mean, I know the people are out there that could do it, but that doesn't mean it won't happen yet. But I mean, too bad it didn't happen 3 years ago, because that's what needed to happen. All right, let's go out to Lubbock, Texas. I think this is the man, Jeremy White.
Welcome back, truth seekers.
What's up, Jeremy?
I got some information for you. So I was going to tell you about this holiday called Shavuot. I can't really pronounce it too good. Shavuot.
Sure.
So we've been watching Tisha B'Av, and so I started looking at this site called HebCal, like Hebrew calendar, to see when other holidays fall on. And so I noticed this one called Shavuot, and it's also known as the Festival of Weeks, or also as Pentecost.
Okay.
So the way it's set up is there's 3 major holidays in the spring, then there's 2 major holidays in the fall, and this one's kind of halfway in between. And so what it does is it counts from Passover, which was April 20th this year, and it counts 49 days, and then this is on the 50th day. And it's like, it comes from the Bible. It's in Leviticus 23 and a few other places where it talks about like the commandment about it. So anyways, Shavuot this year falls on June 9th and 10th. And so I started looking at that day, and that is exactly 62 days before Tisha B'Av. So like the 62, like sacrifice. Let's see. A couple other things about it is it's textually connected to the season of the grain harvest, specifically of wheat. In ancient times, the grain harvest lasted 7 weeks and was a season of gladness. And then they harvested the barley during Passover and ended with the harvest of wheat at Shavuot. So it also commemorates the giving of the Torah to Moses at Mount Sinai. So if you look at the Gematria of Sinai, it equals 25, 83, and 38. And Shavuot equals 25, 83, and 38. So you get the 83 and 38, as we know, connected to murder stories all the time. And then also Mount Sinai equals 45, 135, and 63. And it's an exact match to Feast of Weeks, 45, 135, and 63. When both of those also equal 810 in the Sumerian cipher, like 135 times 6 is 810. So there's another connection to that August 10th, August 11th bill. So, and now I was looking at the numerology of June 10th, and it's a day with 19. If you add them single digits, so there's the chaos bill. So I bet they'll do some kind of a death, murder, sacrifice bill on that day. Because even in these Bible verses, it talks about how there's commandment to do a sacrifice. Like it says, along with the bread, you shall present 7 one-year-old male lambs without defect, and a bull of the herd, and 2 rams. They are a burnt offering to the Lord, with the grain offering and the drink offerings, and an offering by fire of a soothing aroma to the Lord. So yeah, so seven lambs, 1 bull, and 2 rams. So anyway, there's just all this stuff. So I started looking like how that day fell in the past. And it turns out in 2016, the Shavuot was on June 12th, the day of the Pulse nightclub shooting. And it seemed like every year that I checked, there was some huge disaster that day.
Huh. Very interesting. Yeah, that's a great observation. So yeah, you're right. We do need to explore that more. I mean, the whole reason that I was so certain about something going down that weekend that ended up being the Vegas shooting was because of how it lined up with the Hebrew calendar and Yom Kippur, which is arguably their most important holy day, the way everything lined up that year. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to pay more attention to the Hebrew calendar and learn more about these celebrations. So you're right on point, and I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, and like the Shavuot is it's commemorating the harvest of wheat and stuff. And the Las Vegas shooting was at that harvest festival, Route 91 Harvest Festival.
That's right. That is right. Yeah.
Yeah, it also relates to fire, because in the New Testament, in the book of Acts, on the day of Pentecost, which is the same thing as Shavuot, the same day, that's when the tongues of fire came onto the disciples.
Okay. Huh.
So it seems like there's also like a fire connection with it.
Okay. Okay. I see this year it starts on the Gregorian calendar on a date with 26 numerology, and Chaos has that 26 connection, and these 2 synagogue shootings were exactly 26 weeks apart, and Poway's 26, and they coded 26 into all the victims, and apparently if you say that, it's called hate speech. But yeah, all right. You got my eyes open on that one. I'm going to do some more homework on it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so it's like June 8th, 9th, and 10th on our calendar. So then another one I looked at that was on there, like it's one of the minor holidays or whatever. But it's called Shabbat Chazon, like Chazon. And it says it's the Sabbath before Tisha B'Av, and it's like a day of mourning, kind of. And it's called the Black Sabbath. So it's like the saddest one of the year. I was just thinking about that band. I was like, oh, that's where they got that name from.
Huh.
Like the one with Ozzy Osbourne and all that.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I will check it out. Yeah, that reminds me that the shooting at Stoneman Douglas was on Yom Kippur Katan, which is related to Yom Kippur. And of course, they said the majority of the victims were shot in room 1214, not unlike the Sandy Hook shooting date, in Holocaust remembrance class. And they said 6 students were shot in Holocaust remembrance class. And that was on a minor Jewish holiday too. So yeah, I think you're definitely on point here, Jeremy.
It could also have something to do with laws. Like maybe they used that day as a way to pass laws or legislation, because like the original day was Moses getting the law at Mount Sinai.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good thought.
So we have to go back and see each year where did that day fall, and then what happened on that day.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. Very good thought.
Yeah, that's most of the summary of it.
Well, I appreciate it, Jeremy. So I got it flagged here. I am going to be doing some more research on that. Brilliant observation. Thank you so much.
Alrighty. Till next time.
All right, Jeremy. Have a good night.
See ya.
Sounds better when he does it. I need that accent. Let's go out to Florida.
Hey, I'm kind of new here, so apologize if this question's already been asked before or something like similar. But with rigged sports like the NBA and the NFL, I've been watching a lot of videos recently about it, and it totally makes sense that they would do that to, one, distract us, and then two, make money, profit off that. With like with MJ, they maybe would like make him the GOAT as they want it to be, and then they would pair him up with Nike, make him like a big deal. And then, everyone makes money and everyone's happy and it's all entertaining basketball and everyone remembers it and it's all great. But I feel like obviously that could be fake and that's what they would want us to do because they don't want us paying attention to the real stuff. Sorry, I'm rambling. But so I'm wondering, are all the players involved in this or do they know about it? Or is it just like key players like Michael Jordan or LeBron James that know about what's going on, or even like the coaches? And I know the officials obviously are calling the games to dictate where it goes, but is it just like certain players? Because sometimes it feels like players are confused by their shots not going in, or why their coaches are calling it away a certain way, or even officials. So what are your thoughts on that, basically?
So my opinion is, from what I observe at the professional level, is that it seems to me that they're all aware and they're paid like Hollywood actors because that's what they are. I mean, I could be wrong. That's my opinion. I think at the collegiate level, a lot of the players are clueless, but I think some of them that are destined for the bigger stage are in on the know. The only people you really need to throw a football game are the quarterback and maybe a key defensive player. So just what I witnessed, in the NFL with the players purposely not tackling, just little things like the end of the Pistons game where they got shut out. That their big guy, I always forget his name, starts with a D. He had the ball to rebound. I mean, and instead of rebounding it, he fumbled it out like an idiot and pretty much did a shovel pass out to the Bucks player who was standing at the 3-point line, who then got the ball wide open and drilled a three to put the game away. It's just like, really, man, you can't pick up the ball with the game on the season on the line. And to me, the pro sports just look like such a joke to me. It looks like they're all in on it from my perspective. So that's my take.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I feel like they could be using also, if it's not all the players, like they had a basket manipulation guy was talking about earlier. They could just be using some kind of technology, like within the rims or within the balls or whatever they're doing.
It's possible. It's possible. Hey, here, I brought this real quick. Did you see the end of the Spurs game? Did you see the end of the Spurs game where they got eliminated?
Against was it Lillard? The Lillard shot?
No, the Spurs just got beat by the Nuggets in Game 7.
Okay, I don't follow it anymore.
Okay, so here's what happened at the end of the game. The Spurs were down 4 points with like 31 seconds left, right? And Denver inbounded the ball. So what do you expect to happen there? 31 seconds left, down 4. What are you going to do?
Try to take a shot.
No, you don't. You're on defense. So what do you do?
Oh, okay. No, then I'll defend. Don't let them get a shot.
Well, there's 31 seconds left. You need to get the ball back. You're down 4. You're down 2 possessions. You foul, right? You foul and you put them at the free throw line, right?
Okay, I follow.
Right, because you're hoping they make 1 or 2 or miss both, and then maybe come down and hit a 3. Now you got a 1-point game. So what does San Antonio do? They let them inbound the ball. They let them dribble out the whole clock and then do a high shot to waste even more time. And then when they get the ball, they don't even call a timeout or anything. They just let the whole time run out. And why did they do that? Because the score was right at the spread. And you see stuff like that all the time in the world of sports if you're paying attention. So to me, that's the proof that they're all in on it. I mean, how does nobody on the court foul them? Everyone just stands around like an idiot and just lets the clock run out and their whole season end?
Yeah, I remember there being a tweet from this like cornerback from, I don't know what football team, but his name's Jalen Ramsey. And it was Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't remember. It was when New England kicked out or beat Jacksonville Jaguars in the playoffs. And then Jalen Ramsey tweeted that his coach was telling them that the commission says to just let them throw the game or something. He could have been bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah, you're talking about the AFC Championship 2 years ago. Jacksonville was killing the Patriots.
For New England.
Yeah, AFC Championship 2 years ago.
New England, because that's the more entertaining story.
Right. And I still remember that day because I told everybody the Patriots would be in the Super Bowl all year, and I was getting trolled on my main page. Oh, it looks like your Patriots are going down. I'm like, okay, let's see when the game's over. Of course, the Patriots came back and won, and that's because Jacksonville threw the game. They just stopped playing in the second half. So, yeah, that's what I mean.
And then like the referee like celebrating with the Patriots after the game was over. Like,
Right.
why was he there?
Right. Exactly. Mocking. So yeah.
Just like patting him on, like Tom Brady on the chest. Like, what's going on here?
Exactly, man.
He's just like impartial official.
Exactly. And
yeah, that's all I really want to talk about. I'm trying to take up too much of your time because I know it's late and you got some other callers online.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for listening and thanks for calling. You have a good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Take care. All right. Let's go out to South Tahoe.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
Hey, Zach. How's it going, man? I'm a huge fan.
Thanks for calling in. It's going all right.
All right. How's it going, bud? What I want to talk about tonight is I keep hearing people say like witchcraft and God and all this stuff, and I'm really into history, and I believe like the Illuminati kind of came about after like World War II, maybe like World War I. It's definitely been happening for a long time, but that's when, you know, these huge wars were fought, and the United States, Israel, Britain, France, like they all had these colonies and stuff. And what you see is going on today is like Platonic rules where Plato came up with the idea where intelligent minds could rule better than anybody else. And so you have these things, people call them Jews or political Zionists or whatever, but it's really just a selected group population of people that are very, very intelligent, and their minds are used for the control of the population. And so a lot of these events, it seems like, are planned or contrived, or like, you know, it could be like a product of witchcraft. It's not witchcraft at all. It's actually just like if you've ever seen the Manchurian Candidate or researched like 1979 or anything like that, like there's a lot of programming that they do into the populace to do with religion and stuff. And it has to do with like, you know, like New Age thinking and Muslim stuff, and like just all the world's religions are contrived, and none of it has to do with anything that's actually human or spiritual at all in nature. It's all contrived, like dogmas. And what's real is just like the felt presence of reality. I feel like, you know, it's all, you know, whatever inside is your faith and your spirituality, that's like to yourself. But even if you're a religious person, you need to realize that God's not going to save you if he's not going to save some kids getting shot up in a school. And so you shouldn't stand behind that or think it's like witchcraft or something like that. Like the simplicity of this is it's woven into our society and it's brainwashed into us. And it's to put fear into people, so they're scared and they're you know, divided and conquered. And it's like Martin Luther King taught about this. Da Vinci hit it in his work. Like even like people like Eminem and Mac Miller and stuff, they release albums. Nipsey Hussle, like they you know, they're just people, and their whole lives, like, you know, it revolves around money, and they have families that can be killed if they go against people and they speak out and stuff. And so it's just, there's reasons why people don't speak out. And, you know, they do things for money and then they feel terrible and they hide it in their artwork. Like the France Society, like the people, like, you know, who attributed the works of Shakespeare and stuff. And it's just written in the arts and stuff. And I'd just like to say that it is very real what these people are doing. I mean, it's not just sports and like, you know, they're winning money and stuff. It's just they've always owned the food, and now they own, like, you know, I guess not always, but it's just a group of people that run the banks and own everything basically, and they use religion and stuff as a way to divide us. And I don't want people to be out there to be scared or anything like that. I myself have been like literally stabbed in the back by my best friend. I've had really, really fucked up things happen to me. And I've been inducted into like the Knights of Columbus and the Freemasons and the Illuminati and stuff. And I see them for what they really are. And they're very dangerous, and not many people are talking or as conscious as you are. And so I think you should be careful, and you know, you should see beyond just some numbers they're putting up into like the world and stuff. It's like these people really, they pay attention, and they have top analysts that are listening to your channel and all sorts of stuff. So it's thank you for the information and the simplicity. And you're just, I feel like in a way exposing things to people. So that's great. And I really appreciate the work. I'm going to continue to follow it. And I feel everybody's free to form their own opinion, but that's just my 2 cents on the subject. And thank you very much for your work, man.
Well, you're very welcome, and I appreciate your call. You have a good night.
All right, you too, man.
All right, take care.
All right, bye.
All right, we got 30 seconds till the commercial break. When we come back, we're going out to Van Nuys, New York City, Brattleboro, New York again, Miami, San Diego, Hayward, another California, Orange, New Jersey, Winter Haven, Ontario, Marysville, Lorton. If we make it, we got 30 minutes. We're going to have the callers keep it brief. About the last caller, I just want to point out the Bavarian Illuminati was established May 1st, 1776, before the American Revolution. There's been a lot of major wars in history. Think about the genocide of the natives at the time of the establishment of this nation. We're talking about the killing of tens of millions of people. Think about the Crusades. There's been secret societies and powerful secret societies for centuries and even thousands of years. We'll be right back, everybody. Okay, we're on that commercial break. Interact with the chat for a little bit here, and then we'll do the last 30 minutes of the show. Hey, I don't mean to mispronounce the channel name if I'm saying it wrong. I know the gentleman's real name, but his channel name, I think it's probably pronounced Flowey, Flauwy. If you see this man in the chat, check out the work he's doing. I just shared one of his comments that he left about August 11th. I'd read it tonight on the radio show, but it would take a long time to read, and the callers wouldn't get through. But this guy is doing awesome work on August 11th, and he has taken it to a whole new level. So keep up the awesome work, man. Honestly, I'm probably not going to go over tonight. I am really tired, you guys. I'm really tired. I almost didn't even do the show tonight because I'm so tired. And but I just knew I had to do the show. But I'm probably not going to go over tonight. So sorry if that's disappointing. I need to take a nap. That's what I need to do. Thanks, Dana. I'm glad Dana supports. It does seem like it's something in the air. I haven't been sleeping well. I mean, that's definitely part of it, and been working real hard. But I don't know. I am more tired than normal today. I don't know what it is. So I'll stay strong. I need a good night's rest tonight. Please get the Marysville caller on. Okay. Okay. I'll tell you what. If I don't get the Marysville caller on, it sounds like you know them. Make sure they have the Gematria hotline, 509-731-0567. I'll stay on for them after the show if I don't get to them because they're kind of deep in the call list right now. I got to go in order because people have been waiting. I see. I see. All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. It is the final 30 minutes. I am going to let somebody cut in line just because they're calling from the site of the Oroville Dam, and just because this could be some really important information. So, caller, you're on.
Hello.
Hello, you're on.
Huh?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. It sounds like there's a delay.
Are you calling about?
Yeah, I was just going.
Oh, go ahead.
What's up?
Go ahead.
No, I'm not calling about the dam or the Paradise Fires or nothing like that. I just love your work, man. I watched you do it. You're an intellect, you're intelligent, and I believe all that stuff you did. I got from North Carolina, I went to high school with someone that's in the elite in the NFL. I believe everything you talk about. I want to learn what you know. Like the way you go through those numbers blows my mind. I don't know. I believe all that stuff. I got those apps for the calculations and all that. I'm just trying to figure it out now. Well, how would you tell someone to start learning and figure all that out for their own? What's a good advice?
Well, if it's somebody who's halfway awake, I always start with the September 11th example just to get people to go, wow, that's really interesting. Again, the September 11th example.
No.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm very awake. I was a professional athlete when I was younger, and I did 5 years in the military. I'm more awake than the average bear. So I believe I know everything, a lot of stuff. I want to learn all those numbers and putting it together. I don't really bet or anything like that. I just love the knowledge you drop. Like you know your shit.
Sure. Well, I'm just saying, if somebody's halfway awake and they know that something's wrong with September 11th, I always think that's a really interesting topic to start with, just especially the Flight 77 example, if you've ever heard me talk about that.
Okay, yeah, talk about it. I'll tell you what I think about it. Yeah, do you believe in the planes? There weren't two of them holograms. There was just explosions. Obviously, it was set to explosions all throughout. It was why did the Tower 7 fall? You know what? Of course it was set up. They put hella insurance up on it before that. The guy that owned the building, Condoleezza Rice, they're telling people not to fly. It was all set up. It was all crap.
Right. Yeah, and again, there's just so many things that are obvious about 9/11, but just to introduce people to the numbers in the code, that Flight 77 example, it's a really clear one. So, but yeah, I really appreciate the support, and I think one of the best ways to understand the knowledge and get a hold of it is to read the first 2 chapters of my book. And again, if you just buy one copy, it's only $5. It's an electronic book. You can forward it to your whole email list and just say, hey, just read the first 2 chapters of this book and tell me what you think. So
cool. No, I just paid the $5 for this. I got the book too. I'm trying to I want to know what you say to go about it. I want to learn about it and be more like you about it, because you just look like you're in deep about it, and that's cool. You're still doing it for so cheap, and I mean, people are stoked to making money and all that. I just like the knowledge because I'm not a big fan of the government.
Yeah, me neither.
I worked for them for a while.
Me neither. All right, caller. Well, I really appreciate it. And
all right, man. Well, thank you for picking up. I know you're short, and get some sleep.
All right, thanks, man. You have a good night. Appreciate it.
Later.
All right, take care. All right, let me go out to Van Nuys, California.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Zach. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for calling back.
Yeah. It's actually pronounced Van Nuys. Van Nuys.
Van Nuys. I'll remember that next time. Thank you.
I heard your show with that guy, what's his name, Doherty. I kind of followed him a little bit too, and it was interesting to hear your show and what you guys were thinking about the whole religious attacks. I think what they're trying to do, Zach, is they're trying to make it so when people gather for religion, they're going to eventually stop letting people gather to do their religious ceremonies. And I think that's what they're trying to make people do, rather than try to, make people hate each other. They're going to make people so afraid to go to church that nobody feels safe to go to church or temple or mosque that, the churches will close on their own. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so because I mean, like, you know, the temples already have, the Jewish temples already have armed guards around a lot of them. So it's only a matter of time before every church has an armed guard, and that's going to make people feel really uncomfortable going to church,
right,
or wherever they choose to worship.
right.
And it's going to be like the Roman days where you couldn't gather more than 3 people in a, you know, otherwise you'd be hauled off to jail.
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, very good points.
So that's my only point. I wanted to say that I'm going to try to maybe, I started a Gematria Instagram page, and I would like to maybe meet people on Wednesday nights at a coffee house here in Los Angeles. And maybe we could I could meet some people. We could all listen as a group to your show.
Very cool. Sure. Are you going to promote the coffee house?
I don't have a coffee house picked out, but I started an Instagram page called Gematria Effect Los Angeles. So if anyone wants to maybe pick up the Instagram page, we can communicate through Instagram. And I'm going to try to find a coffee house somewhere central in Los Angeles and just, you know, be there. And maybe if other people want to come out of the woodwork and listen, we can listen together as a group. And, you know, just might be a way to get out of the house for some people and meet some other people who, you know,
right,
don't make them feel so weird.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what a lot of us need. So that sounds awesome. And Gematria Effect Los Angeles on Instagram, that's the spot?
Yeah, so have them go there, and I'll try to put up a site for next week that we can meet, you know, from 6, maybe make it 6 to 8. Some people probably have to go to work, so maybe just for the first 2 hours of the show.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Very cool. All right. Well.
Okay. And
go ahead.
One last thing. You might want to look up your destiny card for your birthday, because I looked up your destiny card. You mentioned your birthday, and you should look up your destiny card. Just Google destiny card, and there's plenty of sites, and it's very revealing about your struggle and your place in life, and you might find it comforting to realize why you're here. You know what I mean?
Sure. I'll do that. Appreciate that.
Okay. Take care.
All right. You too. You have a good night.
Thanks.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. Yeah. You know, when I was trying to create that group, All Truth, that was the dream, you know, to get people to meet in their communities and realize they're not so alone. And then once people are established in their communities, maybe form a larger network and try to collaborate on projects, get more people involved. So I hope that's successful. Let's go out to New York City.
Hey, Zach, Andy.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, I got a couple of points I want to hit. I'm gonna make them quick. About the John signature, I like how you connected when I told you about the Oscars and you connected it to the day he died and the anniversary of Boys in the Hood. Didn't you notice the 9 weeks in one day too?
Yeah, and you were right on about how it synced up with Spike Lee winning that award too. Absolutely.
All right, and then I got one more point. You remember when it was like 2 weeks ago? We were talking about the boyfriend in Brooklyn that asked the two women. The one died and one got badly injured. You remember that story we talked about? Was that last week or the week before we talked about that?
Yeah, Bushwick. Yep.
It was in Bushwick. Well, you remember somebody brought up something about the Ghetto Boys, Bushwick Bill?
Right.
You saw he in the news today, but he got pancreatic stage 4 pancreatic cancer. You see that, right?
Bushwick building?
Yeah, he got stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
I didn't know that.
Like 3 to 6 months to live.
I didn't know that. I'll look that up.
He said he found out from the doctor on February 8th that he had it. And he just now telling the public that he got it. So he basically got like 3 to 6 months to live. So it was very interesting. We were talking about Bushwick, and somebody brought up the Ghetto Boys, and he's in the news like a couple of weeks later. I just thought that was interesting.
It is.
And did you see the story about the 19 Indian teenagers that committed suicide because of some test they was taking over there or something?
I did see that headline. I didn't investigate it, but yeah, I did see that.
Okay, and this is my last story. Did you see the story about some movie on Netflix called what is it called, 13 and Only? Something about a girl who commits suicide, and she sends like 13 mystery tapes to certain people and telling them why she committed suicide. And that came out like in 2017, like in March or April of 2017. And they said like after that came out on Netflix, they said it was a rise in suicide because of that. It was called 13 and something.
Huh.
It was something about suicide. So there were 2 suicide stories from yesterday, and both of them was on CNN website. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, I'll look that up. I appreciate it.
All right, that's it.
All right. Yep. You have a good night.
All right.
That story about the 19 suicides in India over the stressful school, that also came on a date with 19 numerology, and here we are in 2019. But yeah, I didn't cover that, but I did see it. Let's go out to Brattleboro, Vermont.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, man.
Hey, I loved your video about Boys in the Hood and the civil rights thing. I think you said that civil rights and Boys in the Hood, civil rights came out on July 2nd, 64, and Boys in the Hood came out on the same day, July 2nd of 91.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Both days with 29 numerology.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was that YouTube channel I heard you talking about there over the break? The guy talking about August 11th. What was the name of that guy?
Oh, Flowey, Flauwy. He's got a YouTube channel, and he's been making some great comments. Flauwy.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, Kentucky Derby favorite equals 118.
That's interesting.
And the favorite just dropped out, Omaha Beach.
Right. Yeah.
Which was a total surprise, apparently. Do you have any picks for the Kentucky Derby?
There's a certain guy who's got 3 horses in the race, and I'm going to be doing a deep coat on that Friday afternoon for Patreon. And yeah, there's a horse that I like a lot. So yeah, there's a certain trainer who's 66 years old, and he's going for his 6th win, and he's got a certain horse in a certain lane, and nobody's won in that lane for 6 straight years. And for the last 6 years, the favorites win. There's just 6s all over the place. And if you do an article, you'll see how they're comparing him to the Patriots. And we just saw Belichick get his 6th championship at age 66. So, yeah, there's some major parallels. But I'll be putting that out Friday afternoon.
Well, okay, I'll check that out. And if I win some money, I'll definitely drop you.
Oh, no, man, you keep it. You keep it. I'm getting more money than I need, but the good news is about all this money coming my way through the Patreon is it's all getting saved, and it's going to go towards the Gematria Effect News Network when there's enough resources to make it happen. So saving month by month right now. But if you do win, friend, you be sure to keep it. So everybody, if you just support $5 a month on the Patreon, that's all I need from you, and I'm happy to help you earn even more like a lot of people are doing on the Patreon. So that's the goal. Synergy.
All right. Well, I appreciate all that you've done. I'll let you do, man. You're an inspiration.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Keep up the good work yourself. You have a good night.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Take care. All right. New York City. New York City. New York. Going once. Going twice. All right. I got to move. Oh, you're on. Hey, what's up? What's up, New York?
I don't know. I'll be having to call back. Like because the phone hangs up.
Oh, all right. So you're already on tonight. You're already on tonight.
Hey, but I could contribute though. Still, since we talking about money, and to stay on topic, April 1st tonight, Forbes did an article on CNN losing 26% ratings.
Forbes is 69, like Freemason.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
And it was about cable ratings, which is 111. And just like earlier, Venezuela 111 and all that, everything else. But have fun on the show. It's a good show. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, friend. Another good observation. Appreciate it. All right. Let's go out to Jonathan. Jonathan in Miami. What's up, man?
Hey, Zach. What's up?
Doing the show, man. What's going on?
Hey, I was thinking about, I got $1 million idea. I was thinking about writing a Gematria book, but just basing it on hip hop.
There you go.
And just keeping it like real short.
Sure.
And but I wanted you to help me with it, like maybe like write a foreword or something.
Sure.
Because I want to emphasize something, that I think is important, Zach. And it's reading. A lot of people don't read. And and I feel like I'm to the point now I don't even have to watch your videos because I've actually read the book.
Right.
Unlike other people, I've read the book. So I don't even have to watch your videos no more because of the fact that I read the book. And I just want to emphasize that reading is important and we need to bring it back because reading and I want to write a book, and I think this will be a good book because your book is, amazing, obviously. But I feel like if I write a book just based on hip hop and keep it short and put like all the rappers that get killed by the code and just the fact that Jay-Z was born on the same day Fred Hampton got killed, it's almost like the end of the Black Panther era and the beginning of hip hop, because arguably Jay-Z is the biggest person in hip hop. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up, and I had a question, but since we're almost out of time, I'm just gonna take the question off air. I was just wondering. Okay, like when these games, they look like so good. Like for example, like with the date numerology, like with that Sharks game the other day.
Right.
I just thought that game looked so good based off the numerology and other factors. And I just wanted to take this question off the air. I just wanted to know, what do you think is the problem when we have something that looks so good with the gematria, with the date numerology, with the coaches? What do you think is the problem when we go wrong? That's all I had. Like, because when everything looks so good for one team, how can it go south? You understand what I'm saying?
Sure. So I'll just answer while you're on air. I mean, we know that when there's a strong riddle, it probably hits at a rate of about 70%, maybe a little bit better than that. And typically the ones where it doesn't hit, we end up seeing how like, oh, well, it's okay. They were lining it up for this other riddle a game later or 2 games later that we overlooked. I mean, that's usually the way it seems to be. And then sometimes it's just like, it is a little bit of a mystery. So just that's my observation, that usually when that strong riddle doesn't hit, it's because like, oh, okay, we overlooked what it could have been 2 games from now and where they might have been going with it. So that's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like it's already, since everything's already planned out, when a game looks so good and then it goes the other way, it's just something dealing with how they want to plan it out for the future game.
Right. That's the way it looks to me. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
I just wanted to call in.
Yeah. Good to hear your voice, man. And I will write the forward for that book. You got to do that, man. We need more gematria awareness books out there. So yeah, that'd be a great idea.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, so he's just talking about how, because for a week we were hitting like every hockey game for over a week, and then there was one game that looked like even better than the ones we'd seen all week, and then it didn't come through, and I was like, well, wait a minute, what went wrong with that game? But that does happen. So, all right, let's go on to San Diego. San Diego?
Hey,
what's up?
I've got brother Paul back from Mexico. Freaking enjoy that summer weather while you all was getting showered out, but back to it. Springtime is beautiful. Freaking tree work up in Central Sierra. Was just up to Paradise last week. Have you been? Did you take a trek down to any of those fires that got wet?
I haven't been down there to see anything with my own eyes. No.
Dude, sup, brother. Straight sup. Real quick, if people are watching on YouTube, just to let you know, like, that I got you on YouTube, but then muted. Like, we're on the phone because YouTube right now has a 10-second delay on you.
Sure.
So that's where you might be getting some days with people.
Right.
Are you planning on staying on there for? Because there's a few things I'd like to say, a couple minutes, but we'll get some other people in. But are you planning on staying on off the show, or?
I'm not going to stay after tonight just because I'm exhausted. I got to crash after the show. I almost fell asleep during the show, so yeah, not tonight.
Yeah. No. All right. Well, here's just a few quick thoughts. Freaking, it's just like churches. This is. I feel like this is, in a sense, like a cell. It is a cell group. It is a. There's a church. We are a body of believers, and it's like, here for is, and that's the thing. Is like when you're talking about truth. Was that all for truth? Freaking yeah, dude. And that's like what you already. It's not like you tried and it didn't. It is gone. It's like it's God's truth. It's God's government coming to light. You know, you're just using your vessel. Boom, bam, hub. Now this, and it's like just keeps growing everything. But all connected, and then our other brothers just called. It sucks like so many. Yeah, I think setting up in a sense like a website. You know, it's Gematria is an aspect. There's so many different aspects. There's just everything, and so it'd be cool for, you know, as far as in a connect or whatever that is. It's just like boom, dude. You would be. And then if other people on a panel, you know, for the section of what's the gematria for the day, like the weather, this, that, or this, that, activities, you know, there's so many different things. You're building a community, so it's like you got to have your construction workers, you got to have your land clearers, road builders, this, that, everything, right? So gematria is badass, all this stuff, but it's just like, you know, I haven't, did Patreon, haven't, you know, read your book. It's like, because like, I already know I'm, you know, wait. Like most everybody here, it's like, so what do we do? And it's just like, it's so simple. Love God, love people. And all our brothers and sisters out there right now, you know, it's just like, I'm going to get off. Love you, brother. Everybody else out there, you guys have a great night.
All right. Appreciate it, friend. Thanks for the call. You have a good night. Yeah, caring for other people is a big part of it. I mean, if everybody cared for everybody else, it probably would heal the problem. It really could be that simple. But I mean, at the same time, there is still this evil element that wants to hurt the people of the world and bring about all this unnecessary negativity. And I guess if everybody was just good to each other, it wouldn't matter, right? We do, well, I'm just going to be good to my neighbor again today. But something does need to be done about this evil that's out there. Let's go out to Orange, New Jersey. Orange. Got the delay.
Yes.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the Kentucky Derby that's on Saturday and any significant numbers, but a couple of callers before kind of like touched bases with it, and I was just wondering if 145th have anything to do with Saturday's race.
You know, it might very well. There's still some more homework I got to do on it, but it's the day leaving 241 days left in the year. That's the 53rd prime number. 53 is the 16th prime number. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to let you think about it, what I'm saying. and do that gematria and see if you find anything interesting about those horse names, just with what I just gave you just there in that moment. So I know everybody knows where
again?
What is it?
What's those numbers again?
So the race is on the day, leaving 241 days left in the year. 241 is the 53rd prime number, and 53 is the 16th prime number. Now you go out and tell me what you see in those horses.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely look that up.
All right.
And just one more question.
Okay.
My middle name, the last number on the gematria meter is 66. Is that like a bad thing?
No, there's no bad numbers. There's no bad numbers, man. But everything's dualistic. So, did you say 666?
Say it again.
It's not bad, man. All the numbers are dualistic. We're out of show, everybody. We'll be back next week. Sorry I didn't get to answer your question, man. The music kicked in, but be back next Wednesday night. And everybody, you have a good night, a good day, depending on where you are in the world. Until next time, Truth Seeker. All right, and for the people in the live chat, I'm going to wrap it up right here. I didn't hear exactly what number he said because it got interrupted with the music, but I get that question all the time. My name equals this. Is that a bad thing? Again, all these numbers are dualistic. So there's no number that's entirely bad. There's no number that's entirely good. There are numbers that I end up talking about all the time because they're used ritualistically in certain ways. But even if you have one of those numbers, it still doesn't mean it's a bad number. So I'll just put that out there as the closing thought for the night. And thanks everybody for being here. So I do. Oh shoot, we got to travel for a wedding. There's a possibility I might not be able to do the show next Wednesday, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. And hope the people are safe out there near Orville. I'm going to keep my eye on that too. So, all right, you guys. Thanks again. Until next time.